glorious day. Let us celebrate seasons past. Let us celebrate the season to come.
It really didn't matter what happened in the regular season for this football team as long as we made it to the playoffs, because all this team's going to be judged on anyway is how we do once we get in January.
We will go to the Super Bowl. We will get our third straight. We will do something that's never been done before.
I feel like we have a great chance of getting back there. I really do. I really feel like we're definitely one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league.
I once was lost.
It's kind of like that one shoe company had a T-shirt slogan, "Shut up and play." And it's that time. It's time to play.
But now I am found. I was blind, but now I see.
Hey, open them doors. What, did somebody turn up the heat? No way. It's Division Playoff Sunday. It's the NFL on Fox. It was 1967. These two teams went to war in one of the greatest games ever played. A contest so cool, they called it the Ice Bowl. Then, a prince named Landry was waiting in the shadows, while a king named Lombardi reigned supreme. Today, the Packers have plenty of faith, and even without Sterling, Mr. Favre has never been sharper. And this power preacher's making believers the world over. The boys had plenty of steam to grab 2 straight Super Bowls, but do they have the firepower to win a third? Now, here's 4 guys who could melt ice with their own hot air. Your hosts of the NFL on Fox.
A familiar sight come playoff time, Texas Stadium, home of the defending 2-time Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys, who have won 70% of the playoff games there, compared to just over half away from home. Emmitt Smith had a lot to do with the most recent victories, and amazingly, some people consider this a down year for Emmitt, who still managed to become the first player ever to gain over 1,400 yards in 4 straight seasons. Last week, Reggie White led the Packers in holding Barry Sanders to -1 yard on 13 carries. They'll need a similar performance today against Emmitt if they hope to corral the Cowboys. And hello and welcome to Hollywood Studio 7, and welcome to Fox's NFL Divisional Playoff Special. Well, today Green Bay battles Dallas for the right to meet San Francisco in next Sunday's NFC Championship game. Well, the Pack brings the NFL's highest postseason winning percentage into today's game against the Cowboys team with its sights set on an unprecedented 3rd straight Super Bowl championship. I'm James Brown, and joining me today are 3 characters who need no introduction. They get awfully grouchy around this time. We knew the toughest part for Howie, first year out of retirement, would be come playoff time. Yesterday, he gets mad and beats up on the producer. Can you believe that?
It's Scotty Ackerson, who's a little bitty guy.
Little guy.
Why don't he pick on someone your size?
Well, we all ran. We all ran.
Well, I was going to call Reggie White, but he's busy today. I'm going to have him help pull his buddy off of him. Yeah.
Howie, are you okay today?
Yeah, I'm in intense therapy, a couple $100 an hour in Beverly Hills.
We are glad to have him.
But we know you're not paying for it, right?
No. I worked a promo out.
Let's hope the game is as good as Scotty's and Howie's action was yesterday. Well, today's game should go a long way towards demonstrating whether the Cowboys have the heart and horses for a 3rd straight Super Bowl drive, or whether the Pack is indeed back among the NFL elite. Pat Summerall and John Madden will call today's game from Texas Stadium, where they're standing by to shed some light on these questions. Pat and John.
Well, the first light I think you have to say is the weather. Boy, what a delightful day it turned out to be. It's supposed to be ice and snow, but it's bright and sunny. It's supposed to be about 60 degrees. The Cowboys have the horses, but the real question, JB, I think, is, are they healthy horses? And what do you think, John?
Well, you know, when we talked to them yesterday and we watched them practice, they look like they're healthy. They say they're healthy. You know, Troy Aikman had the knee, Emmitt Smith, the hamstring, Michael Irvin has that quadricep injury. And you wonder, you can be healthy, but are they healthy enough to play at intensity of a playoff level game for the whole game? That's the question that I have. And I know one thing. I remember a year ago coming into the playoffs that the Cowboys were a lot more confident than they are right now.
I think really they question their health situation a little bit. As far as the Packers are concerned and the Cowboys are really concerned, they have to find out where Reggie White is, and then they have to get him blocked.
Yeah, and you remember last time we were here and we did these two teams, you watched Reggie White here against Larry Allen. He has this move right here. I used to call that move a club. I saw Howie Long do it once on the pregame show, and he called it the hump. Last night when we were talking to Reggie White, he says he learned that move from Howie, and he calls it the Howie. So he's going to bring that one off the shelf today. So if you see guys going flying off of 92, that means he just Howied them.
And he's going to move up and down that Packer defensive line. The Cowboys' job is to find him. Now let's go back to JB.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. And indeed, Howie tried to execute that move on Jimmy, Terry, and myself. We got out of there last night, no doubt about it. Look, we heard John kind of questioning the health of Dallas. The other question most people want to know, is Dallas really ready to make it 3 straight? Do you think so?
Yeah, you know, if you listen to what Madden just said, that's the same questions I have. There was an old thing that Chuck Noll taught me, and he said he hated this when players did it. He called it false chatter. In other words, you say something and it sounds great, but deep inside you really don't believe it, JB. And I think the questions the Cowboys are having to answer today to all the media, they're tired of us saying what's wrong with them. They're tired of hearing they haven't scored enough points, only averaging 10 points the last. They're tired about Emmett and his hair, tired of this and tired of that, and they want to get to the big show. And, well, they're going to find out today. We'll find out in that opening quarter whether or not these Cowboys are ready to go and get that third title.
Yeah, when you talk to the Cowboy players, to a man, they say, hey, we are focused, we are ready, we are tired of people asking what's wrong. We would like for nothing more than to go to San Francisco. Wouldn't want it any other way and whip San Francisco. Get by Green Bay today, whip San Francisco.
You know, how everybody looks at the last, part of the season and the Cowboys and how they played. I actually think that they were bored the last few ball games. I think they're like a heavyweight champion. They've got a tune-up fight today, getting ready for the #1 contender next week.
Well, that tune-up fight, I think, is going to be a pretty good opponent today. We'll see what happens with that. Well, there's a lot more to come when we come back. And a Cowboy who hopes to return to form after 2 weeks rest, that man, Michael Irvin. Terry Bradshaw talks to the man who's never been shy, and guess what? He's never been bolder.
We will go to the Super Bowl. We will get our third straight. We will do something that's never been done before. I can't allow myself, I can't allow my teammates and anybody around me to think any other way.
My lust for you knows no bounds!
Series premiere tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central.
This Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by Aflac, insuring over 38 million people worldwide. By Quaker State 4x4 Motor Oil, the intelligent oil for hard-working engines. By Red Lobster, for the seafood lover in you. And by 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls.
All of Dallas is smiling with the knowledge that Troy Aikman is feeling healthy again. He's been zinging the ball in practice, and Dallas fans take heart. Troy is 6-0 as a postseason starter. But it's this man, Brett Favre, who was the NFL's second highest rated quarterback this season, trailing only Steve Young. Favre would gladly trade that Pro Bowl invite that he didn't get for a shot at the Super Bowl, and Bradshaw agrees. Back in a moment.
It still bugs me that I waited to try Old Spice High Endurance just because I thought all deodorants worked the same. Dumb. This proves it's the best. Try it. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT and they'll buy you a stick of yours. Take the High Endurance Challenge from Old Spice. I did.
Serving up another great catch. Red Lobster presents the Catches of the Year. At number 10, the Falcons' Burt Emanuel. Number 9, the Dolphins' Irving Fryer. Number 8, the Steelers' Andre Hastings. Number 7, the Colts' Sean Dawkins. Number 6, the 49ers' Jerry Rice. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the second half of the countdown.
Once a year, they come together at Red Lobster. The sensational, the spectacular, the biggest. All with our lobster and shrimp feast. It starts with a sensational shrimp cocktail. Then, indulge in a spectacular lobster tail. Savor our largest golden fried shrimp and lobster and shrimp scampi over pasta. Enjoy them all in the lobster and shrimp feast. But hurry to Red Lobster. It ends January 15th.
Here we go with the second half of the countdown. At number 5, the Raiders' Rocket Ismail. Number 4, the Saints' Wesley Walls. Number 3, the Jets' Rob Moore.
It is a dive and a touchdown!
Number 2, the Patriots' Ray Crittenden.
A leaping catch in the end zone!
But for the number 1 catch of the year, you'll have to tune in next week. And for a great catch every day, come to Red Lobster.
In the toughest, meanest game on earth.
You show us why we drafted you!
It's not whether you win or lose.
I think I broke my neck.
It's whether or not you survive.
I said I could wait to make the highlight reel.
Rise and Walk, the Dennis Byrd story.
It's not supposed to end like this. It hasn't ended.
Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Everyone ought to have a team of guys you like. And I got scouts, I got people out looking at babies. We keep looking all the way through the playoffs. We don't even just look in this country. If this team could go out and play, the other teams may not even show up.
The All-Madden Team, Sunday, January 22nd.
Michael Irvin's bruised thigh could be a big reason why the Cowboys have been limping on offense the last 4 games of the season. Cowboy fans have to hope that 2 weeks of rest are just what the doctor ordered for Big D's little offense. And welcome back to Hollywood, California. You know, the Cowboys lost 2 of their last 3 games after clinching the NFC East, and they look bad doing so. Now, Terry, I understand that you invited one of your neighbors, Michael Irvin, over to your house this week. Had a little conversation about the power of positive thinking.
You're kind of proud of yourself.
Thank you very much. Little ad-libbage, as you said.
Yeah, I like a little ad-libbage. You know, there are a lot of players in the National Football League I look up to, most of them, and a lot of them really, you know, I'm not sure about. But this Michael Irvin guy is one of the neatest guys, and if you ever get the chance to sit down and talk to him, you find out just how much fun he can be, and he's also very honest. Check this out.
Michael, is this team in better shape this year than it was last year?
That's a good question. You know, people.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to ask good questions.
I figured that. You know, people always say, you know, are you a better team this year than you were last year? And we lost a lot of good players last year, last offseason to free agency. You know, you talk about losing Ken Norris, Thomas Evers, Kevin Golan, John Giesecke, Tony Casillas, and then you still say, are we a better team? Every year we're going to be, I don't think we're going to be as good, as talented as we were the year before. So we just got to come back and say we got to make less mistakes than we did the year before. And the thing is, we're not doing that right now. We're not making less mistakes. We're making more mistakes, of anything. And that's what we got to straighten out before that first playoff game.
Who is stepping up right now for the Dallas Cowboys that as a leader that may be a little bit out of character for them to do so?
I tell you what, who's leading our team, quite honestly, is Coach Switzer. Period.
Are you serious?
You know, and I'm dead serious. And I know he's been taking a damn bashing. But, you know, people don't understand what goes on around and behind closed doors and the things that he say to us, and we're going to be fine. We know we're going to be fine. You know, the thing is, we got to play football with the same confidence that we played in years past, regardless to who's going and who's here now.
You will look back on this, and you will kick yourself 1,000 times, because of all the things I've ever thought about, it's always been that one year. God, we could have done something that no one has ever done. Now, the Cowboys had that same opportunity, and these things don't come around. But I look at production, and I think, well, Michael can't drive off. They're reading your routes, cuts, insides, quick slants.
They're sitting on them.
Okay?
And people don't want to hear excuses. It's not excuses. It's just the reality of it. It's not to say that we're not going to accomplish what we want to accomplish, what we set out to accomplish, because we will do that. That I promise. We will go to the Super Bowl. We will get our third straight. We will do something that's never been done before. I can't allow myself, I can't allow my teammates and anybody around me to think any other way, because then it's poison.
Will this team make it back to the Super Bowl?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Reebok.
Let me ask that again. This team going back to the Super Bowl this year?
Yes, sir. Can I say that? You want me to say yes,
say it again?
Sir, yes?
I don't know if it's for my benefit or yours.
Hey, you know what? I don't need to see it for my benefit. I see it for yours and for everybody out there watching. You know, don't worry about us. We're going to be fine.
Yep, he's going to be fine. He sees something else.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, you believe all this stuff? You think you believe?
Well,
does Michael believe it?
Well, first of all, if he was 100% sure, he wouldn't have called you sir.
Oh, I'm going to have to put a Howie on you now.
But I tell you what, you know, Michael Irvin played for me for 2 different teams, and he is fantastic to have on a team. Just his enthusiasm, his attitude, and it carries over to all the players. And I think Michael's really trying to give them a spark right now. You know, I think they need that spark, but the bigger spark is going to come if Michael and Alvin Harper get involved in the passing game and get some of those touchdowns like they did in the playoffs last year. That's going to be the big key, production on the field today.
Anytime you're successful as a team or as an athlete, I think you have to constantly reevaluate where you're at mentally. You have to find ways to trick yourself into being the best. When you're the best every year, as the Cowboys have been the last couple of years, they get complacent. They have to find some type of inspiration. And right now, it's the world against us. They think everyone's against them. The Cowboys are the team to beat. They feel they're confident. They're ready to go.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see one 65-yard bomb to Harper right off the bat and let me know that Harper's in the game. Then I would be convinced of all of this.
How many brothers and sisters does Michael Irvin have?
17. He's got a large group.
17. So the point is, he knows exactly what to say.
Right.
We'll
he
see.
sets the stage.
We'll see what happens on the field today. All right, folks, don't get off that couch. We'll be right back with a live report from Dallas. And a young man who definitely bears watching is Packers wide receiver Robert Brooks, who had 9 receptions only during the regular season and 7 big catches for 88 yards while filling in for Sterling Sharp last week. Here's a guy who's happy to be an underdog, Sean Jones. His old Oilers team wound up 2-14, while Sean's Packers are still in the Super Bowl hunt. His 10.5 sacks led the Pack and made him the perfect bookend for one Reggie White. Well, you know, the Packers head into today's game at Dallas riding a 4-game winning streak, but they also bear the burden of a 4-game losing streak against the Cowboys. Ron Pitts reports from Texas Stadium on how Green Bay hopes to reverse the latter trend. And hello, Ron.
Hey, JB, how you doing, bud? You know what? I played for the Pack. I know a lot of guys in this team pretty well still. And I'll tell you what, I know when they're confident, when they got that look, and I also know when they're kind of blowing smoke. The Green Bay Packers are very confident of a win here today against the Dallas Cowboys. The main reason for it is what happened here on Thanksgiving Day. They had some success moving the football, particularly in the air, Sterling Sharp, with 4 touchdown catches. But, you know, things have changed a lot since then. Of course, Sterling Sharp, he is not active, and you can't always expect for your defense to have the kind of performance they had last week against Barry Sanders. I talked to Brett Favre when he got off the bus this morning. He said we're looking, of course, for that perfect 50-50 run-pass split, but he said there's also some things we got to avoid on offense if we're going to be successful.
Well, the thing we can't do is get in third and long situations. If we end up 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10, that's what they like. They can pin the ears back and come at you, and they're very good at it. So we got to find ourselves in 2nd, 5, and 3rd and short situations.
And as far as that stomach problem he had a couple weeks ago, he said that's fine. He's not taking any medication for it. He's getting down. He's ready to play football, JB.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. And Ron is looking fit enough that the Packers might want to consider rehiring him for their secondary. You know, a big part of the Packers' recent resurgence on offense has been the use of the tried and true football weapon known as the screen pass. The guys are ready and waiting at Fox Field to demonstrate how the Packers earned the title of the Screen Pass Kings. Professor Bradshaw.
Thank you, Reverend Brown. Thank you. Ball George, thank you. Well, boys and girls, this is our last year to use our football field, so we thought we'd bring the coach and the big Howie over here and demonstrate the king of screens of the Green Bay Packers. And, Jimmy, you say that the Cowboys are going to do a little something different today to stop the Packer screens?
Well, Terry, Edgar Bennett is probably the best screen runner in the entire National Football League. He does a great job of it. He's had a lot of success this year. And the Cowboys ends and linebackers will look for a little tip to see when he's going to run the screen pass.
Now, he's fullback.
He's a fullback. And normally, Edgar Bennett will come out of his stance and he will check his responsibility for protection if there's a blitzing linebacker. If there's no blitzing linebacker, he's going to go on out into the pattern. Now, when he's going to run a screen pass, Edgar Bennett now, instead of stopping right here, he goes up into the line of scrimmage to kind of mix in with the offensive lineman and then wheel back around to set up the screen. So the ends and linebackers will watch Edgar Bennett to see if he's going to hide up into the line of scrimmage, and that'll tip them off if they're going to run the screen pass.
Well, if they're going to hide, if they're going to run the screens. One of the things, if you think about the Green Bay Packers, go back to their last game Thanksgiving, and remember Brett Favre threw 4 touchdown passes to Sterling Sharp. Well, folks, 3 of these came off of scrambles, and one of the things defensive coordinator Butch Davis has told Tolbert and Charles Haley, the 2 fine defensive ends of the Cowboys, is this time don't go past the quarterback's drop. Don't get behind Favre. See how they're behind Favre? And what Favre was doing, set up. Now they gave him a lane underneath to get out, set up, and throw the passes. This week, you'll see them read the 3, 5, and 7-step drop of Favre, and they want them to stay even with the quarterback and not allow him a lane to escape and throw the touchdown passes on the run. Now, we want to go back to another move that you saw demonstrated just now. Howie, come over here, will you? Show us once again the Howie move.
The Howie move.
You
are the tackle. I'm the quarterback.
I've been wanting to
Are you sure you are?
I've been wanting to do this all year. Just, help me up, Jimmy. All right, come on, big guy. All right, I got Howie. You know, there's just nothing scary about the Howie move, JB. Take it away.
See that catch, Terry? I called my own routes.
Oh, boy.
All right, folks. We'll be back before you know it with more insights into today's big game. And no one knows more about big games than Charles Haley. With his old teammate Joe Montana out of the playoffs, Charles is the only player left with a chance to win a record-breaking 5th Super Bowl ring. Back with more in a moment. Final thoughts segment, and why not go to the originator of the hump move?
Yeah, I'm going to talk some skill stuff. You know, the Packers defensive backs and their staff feel that the Cowboys wide receivers got far too much latitude in the first game on that alley-oop pass, which has become the trend in the NFL. If you're going to live by the alley-oop, the Packers say you're going to die by it. Look for the Packers to submarine the legs out from under the wide receivers from the Dallas Cowboys. It's ugly time, boy. Playoffs.
Well, Howie, you're exactly right, because the Cowboys, to get back on track, look for them to force the ball deep, even against double coverage, to Alvin Harper to get him involved in the game early, and the same thing with Michael Irvin.
Stars have to play like stars in these games. And in this game, if you're going to go deep in your Green Bay Packer, watch for the safeties of the Cowboys who like to clamp and stop the hooks of the ends. Favre will go hook and go if he goes deep today because he doesn't have Sharp to run away with those little slant passes.
All right, good stuff. All right, folks, kickoff is just a few moments away. As a matter of fact, we will leave you with the introduction of the Dallas Cowboys, and Pat Summerall and John Madden will be taking the handoff just on the other side of this commercial.
You're watching a Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff.
Bluntly declared an end to the Dallas Cowboys' 2-year reign as world champions.
We're raising from the grave. Remember, we're supposed to be dead, but we're the world champion Dallas Cowboys, and we're not dead yet.
As the Cowboys begin their run for an unprecedented 3rd straight Super Bowl trophy, they have added incentive, quieting the naysayers who think they've slipped a notch or two, disproving that theory has become a rallying cry on the field and in the locker room. Brett Favre and the Packers will take the first swipe at playing executioner. Green Bay's new star at quarterback has 16 touchdowns in his last 6 games, while Reggie White is the rare defensive player who can dominate a game. But he'll need plenty of help if Green Bay is going to truly bury the Cowboys and take away the champion's crown. Delightful day in Texas as the Green Bay Packers face the Dallas Cowboys at Texas Stadium. Summerall here with John Madden, and the Cowboys coming into this game, John, thinking that they're all healthy. They coasted sort of down the stretch, and now it's a matter of whether or not they can turn it on for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find out right away if they can turn it on, because they have to. I just watched the pregame introductions, and those guys did come out of the locker room fired up. Now they got to come on the field fired up, and to me, I know that they have to get the ball to Irvin. I know they have to get the ball to Harper, and they had success with that deep stuff. But it all starts with that big offensive line and Emmitt Smith being able to run.
And you look at the Packers side of the ball, Brett Favre, their fine young quarterback, threw 4 touchdown passes to Sterling Sharp when they were here on Thanksgiving Day. Now, Sharp will be absent today. And what kind of an effect does that have on the Packer attack?
Well, you know, you're going to miss a Sterling Sharp. I mean, you know, he's a dominating player, but Brett Favre feels real confident because although he doesn't have Sterling Sharp on the other end, he still has himself. And Brett Favre threw 4 touchdown passes against these guys in this stadium, so he feels good about that. He feels that they can get some running game going, some play pass. He's going to scramble a little, but I think if the Packers are going to win, a big part of that has to come from the defense generally and from Reggie White specifically. He has to have a big day like he did last week.
And of course, Reggie will work up and down the defensive line. He normally is a defensive end, which he was here on Thanksgiving Day, but that was when he was injured, and now he moves from position to position.
I think he's going to play a lot more inside today over the center and guard, because one thing, when he plays inside, you can't run away from him.
And that's what he did so very well last week against the Lions.
And then you remember the last time he played here against the Cowboys and Larry Allen, he gave him that old Howie move, and Larry Allen is a great rookie, but he's never forgotten that day.
And they're still talking about it. Craig Hendrick will kick off. Kevin Williams deep for Dallas. And he's got an alley. Williams taken down by Craig Hendrick, who kicked off. Right now, let's send you down to Ron Pitts.
Hey, Pat, I just talked to Barry Switzer coming down the tunnel. I said, Coach, are you fired up for this one? He said, Ronnie, it feels like a national championship game. I feel like I'm back at Oklahoma. Caught up with Mike Holmgren. I said, Coach, did you say anything special to the team before you came out? He said, are you kidding me? These guys are tired of hearing me talk. I just said, go play. Pat?
And that's about all you have to do.
You should have said something to his special teams about playing better in that kickoff coverage. That's not a very good way to start.
36-yard return by Williams, and Aikman's going to air it out on first down. Out to Emmitt Smith. Good defense by the Packers, Leroy Butler. And let's look at the Cowboys offense. Troy Aikman, of course, the quarterback, almost 100%, still wearing a brace on his left leg. Tuanay Newton, Stepnoski, Derek Kennard, and Larry Allen. Nate Newton dislocated his right big toe last Friday in practice. Other than that, they say they're healthy. Smith, Darrell Johnston, Irvin, Harper wide, and Jay Novacek, the tight end. 2nd and 7. Emmitt Smith deep. Gets it to Irvin. Irvin inside the Packers 30 to about the 26. Leroy Butler knocked him out of bounds, but let's have a look at the Packer defense. Right now they're on their heels. Irvin said he was healthy. Aikman said he was healthy. The Packer defensive front four, Sean Jones, Davey, Jurkovic, and Reggie White. Kuntz, Strickland, and Bryce Popp, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Evans, Teague, Butler, and Buckley. 1st and 10, Dallas at the Green Bay 26. Emmitt Smith straight ahead, bangs down inside the 20 to the 16. George Teague stopped him.
Boy, did they get a double team on Reggie White. You know, if you're going to run, we talked about it, you got to block this guy. Watch Derek Kennard and Big Larry Allen come and double team. This is what you have to do. Boom, you get him turned, you get him going backwards, and if you're going to defeat their strength, one coach's deal is say, run right at it.
And Reggie White is out of the ball game. Steve McMichael has replaced him. 2nd and 1. Emmitt Smith again. Emmitt might have gotten the first down. That's about all. George Kuntz made the stop.
I'll tell you one thing, the Cowboys have come out firing like we said, and this offensive line of the Cowboys is dominated. On that pass to Michael Irvin, Nate Newton and Stepnoski blocked against Reggie White. We saw that big run there by Emmitt Smith, the double team Larry Allen and Kennard. These guys, this front offensive group is coming out firing.
1st and 10 at the Packer 14. That's Scott Galbraith in motion. Smith straight ahead. Galbraith blocked. McMichael made the stop. Galbraith came back to block.
I wonder why Reggie White's out. I mean, I see him down there in the sideline, Pat. He doesn't even have his helmet. I wonder if he broke his helmet or something.
That must be what happened.
Yeah, that's what it is, because it's hard to play without a hat. And like I said, if they're going to do anything, they better get him back in this game, because that offensive line is having their way with that front of the Packers.
That double team that you described a minute ago was a thing of coaching clinics.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
2nd down. Aikman wheels to Novacek. Down at about the 5.5-yard line. Close to enough for a 1st down, not quite.
You see what happens, Pat, is when the offensive line can control this Packer front group, then everything can go. Then you got your running, then you get your running, then you get your play passing, then you get your play passing, then you get your pass protection, and everything fits the way it is on this drive.
3rd and 1. Reggie White is back in that defensive front 5 of the Packers now. Emmitt Smith, touchdown. Is a very impressive drive from the kickoff return to the trip to the end zone.
That is vintage Cowboy football. Watch this. You talk about blocking. Emmitt Smith comes in here. It looks like he comes in with being untouched. Look at those holes. There's nothing there. He just squares his shoulder, and no one touches Emmitt Smith from the backfield to the end zone. Now that is domination by the offensive line.
Bonio for the extra point. 7-0. Dallas leads. 11:01 left to play in the 1st quarter. And they came out smoking.
NFL Special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century, by the American Express card, don't leave home without it, and by McDonald's, the official restaurant of the National Football League.
Chris Bonio set to kick it off to Corey Harris and Darrell Thompson of the Packers. Bonio's kick is pretty good. To Corey Harris at the 5. Corey Harris taken down at the 25.
Let's watch that touchdown run again. It starts here. Nate Newton, Mark II, and they start on a good double team. Then Nate is so big, he just seals off here. Emmitt Smith starts to follow the lead and then just walks right into the end zone. But it starts with Nate Newton and Mark II, and they boom. You see, they get that movement right there. And then Emmitt Smith could just cut right back where Nate Newton was. Big old Nate, he gets that stuff going. You know, and he gets it going upfield. He can take 2 or 3 down there. And that's why that can be an empty highway going in.
Even with a bad toe. 1st and 10, Green Bay. Reggie Cobb was the man in motion. Flag on the play. They might have taken too long.
False start prior to the snap by the offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty remains 1st down.
Ed Hockey the referee. Brett Favre, who since Thanksgiving Day, since that blow to the chin on Thanksgiving Day here at Texas Stadium, has been extremely effective. In front of him, a good offensive line. That's the group that handle the ball. Edgar Bennett hit by Russell Maryland for a loss. And let's have a look at the Dallas defensive unit. Up front, Haley, Lett, Maryland, and Tolbert. Darren Smith, Robert Jones, and Dixon Edwards forwards, the linebackers, all very fast. Brown, Washington, Woodson, and Kevin Smith in the secondary. 2nd and 16. Bennett lost a yard. Cobb and Bennett behind Favre. Ball right at the Green Bay 20. Cowboys showing a blitz, and here they bring him. Favre outside to Anthony Morgan. Since that Thanksgiving Day hit to the chin, a double team by Haley and Tolbert. That was after the hit on Thanksgiving Day. The 4 touchdown passes all to Sterling Sharp. And here's the hit that ignited Brett Favre.
You know, most of the time guys get hit and they get stuff knocked out of them. I think that hit knocked something into Brett Favre because, like I said, after that he threw 4 touchdown passes and he's been hot ever since. Maybe the hottest quarterback in the league.
3rd and 4. Favre gets it outside to Edgar Bennett, and that will be a Packer first down. Out of bounds at about the 37, 38-yard line. Darren Woodson took him out of bounds. Edgar Bennett is excellent coming out of the backfield.
Well, he's one of those guys that can run the ball and block when his shoulder is okay, and then, as you say, a good receiver out of the backfield. And Mike Holmgren, using that West Coast or 49er offense, the fullback is a big pass receiver in that offense.
They always say we have to be able to run the ball. The Packers have difficulty doing that. Edgar Bennett, a good surge straight ahead, stopped finally by Robert Jones, but good yardage. That's the kind of thing they feel they have to be able to do.
And again, they want to run straight at him because if you look at this Cowboy defense with Darren Smith, Robert Jones, Dixon Edwards, the linebackers, you know, Haley and Tolbert, they all have so much speed up front that you can't run right and left. If you're going to negate their speed, you have to run right at it.
2nd and 3. Reverse coming to Brooks. Robert Brooks into Dallas territory, down the sideline, finally knocked out of bounds by James Washington. But he gets all the way down to the Dallas 34.
This is something, the way this Packer team does have confidence. They are mixing up stuff. This is a reverse. You fake the sweep one way, hand off to Robert Brooks coming back the other way. Your lead blocker is your quarterback, number 4, Brett Favre. He makes a block right there, and that springs Brooks for another 5 or 6 yards. But if I had any quarterback in the league that I would want to be my lead blocker, I mean, you don't want that too much, but it would be this guy here.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, yeah, what the heck?
Brooks, by the way, was a running back in college. Straight ahead is Bennett for perhaps a couple. Leon Lett is the first man to hit him.
You know, sometimes Brett Favre comes out and he's a little too hyper early in the game, but I don't feel that in this game. I feel his first few passes, he looks calm. And he looks like, everything, because he's a guy who plays quarterback and kind of has a mentality of a nose tackle.
And don't you think the absence of Sterling Sharp means that he has taken more responsibility on his shoulder?
Yeah, and he has to do a lot more reading, too, because he just can't look for Sharp all the time.
Favre. Incomplete, intended for Morgan. James Washington was one of the 2 Cowboys close by.
And here's the situation right here that Favre was talking about that he wanted to stay out of, that 3rd and long. Because I don't think there's anyone that plays nickel defense better than the Cowboys. See Sterling Sharp there, and Sterling Sharp watches the coverage and then helps the young receivers of the Packers. But this is a tough down. This is where you better double Charles Haley.
3rd and 8, and they have a tight end in front of Haley with that in mind. Look out. Haley almost got there. Favre takes it down and fires short. Incomplete. Chased by Jim Jeffcoat.
Yep, just putting the tight end there doesn't do it. Here's Charles Haley. He's on the tight end there. Rutgers, the left tackle here, should turn out and help him because Chimera's not going to block him. By the time Rutgers comes out, Haley's too quick for that. If the left tackle is going to come out and double, boom, you got to step out there right now. You can't step back and wait.
If he's going to turn out on Charles Haley, He better do it soon.
Yeah, or all he's going to do is see the back of 94 white jersey.
This looks like 50 yards for Chris Jackie. And this is going to get there with plenty of distance to spare. And it's good by Jackie from 50. 7-3. Cowboys lead it. Back at Texas Stadium, the Cowboys 7, the Packers 3. First quarter. Craig Hendrick to kick off. Kevin Williams almost broke the first one. Did get it back almost to midfield and set up the Cowboys in good shape. Kevin Williams at the 6. And a flag on the play as Williams gets back to about the 27, stopped by Tim Hawk.
And the Packers have had trouble with that kickoff coverage against the Packers. Remember on Thanksgiving Day, it was the kickoff return in the second half that got the Cowboys started with Jason Garrett at quarterback. And then today, that first kickoff return.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 50. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That was a playoff signal for a first down, too. Some intensity in Ed Hockey League. At Texas Stadium, the NFC Divisional Playoff. Dallas 7, Green Bay 3. Still in the first quarter. There we'll check out where Reggie White lines up. This time he's at left tackle. Flashes out of there. Stopped again by Leroy Butler, but good yardage. Right now, let's go back to James Brown in Hollywood for a McDonald's game break.
All right, Pat, San Francisco is primed for a championship run. Yesterday, William Floyd set a rookie record with 3 touchdown runs. And league MVP Steve Young, yes, indeed, he showed a rookie's enthusiasm as he found his way to the end zone and confident that his teammates will protect the franchise. The NFC Championship next Sunday here on Fox.
And one of these two teams will face the 49ers at Candlestick next week. Aikman back to throw it. Protection is good. Threw it to Darrell Johnston, who normally would make that catch.
Yeah, you're not going to see that very often. And one of Troy Aikman's favorite receivers, Darrell Johnston's one of the crowd's favorite is Darrell Johnston. You don't see him come out and put that ball in his hands and throw it down very often.
No.
You know, Troy is wearing that receiver in his helmet this time. He's getting the plays from Jason Garrett. He was the only quarterback in the NFL that didn't use this, and it's the first time he's used it today.
To Emmitt Smith. Dragged down by Reggie White.
I think this is the first play that Reggie makes, and you're going to see him here. You see how low he stays, and he's going against Nate Newton. Now, there is man against man. I mean, they're square on each other. Nate almost gets him to buckle, but Reggie just held him and waited for Emmitt to make his break or his move. Then when he made his move, then Reggie White was just off and made the tackle.
That's more than man against man. That's a lot against a lot.
A lot of man against another lot of man.
Really. Here's Aikman back to throw. Up in the pocket. Pass is caught by Michael Irvin, who lunged maybe. Pass is incomplete. Ruled incomplete.
Ooh, watch out, Michael Irvin.
Watch out, Alvin Harper.
Yeah, you don't want to touch one of those officials. Here's Aikman here. It looks like as he threw that ball, it went down a little. Now he catches that. Oh, that's a bad call. I mean, there's nothing. When he goes down there, it
to Robert Brooks. And Brooks almost, with that last little surge, broke through the pack. He was tripped up by Dave Thomas. 7-3, the Cowboys lead.
This Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by IBM.
Back at Texas Stadium, Packer ball at the Dallas 46-yard line. They go with two tight ends and Edgar Bennett behind. Mark Shimura in motion. Bennett straight ahead is wrestled backwards and down after a gain of perhaps a yard by Russell Maryland. Leon Lett.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to run straight at this Cowboy defense, but that's not an easy deal with big cat Leon Lett there and Russell Maryland. I mean, Guy McIntyre and Harry Galbraith are good guards, but they're undersized guys. They weigh about 260, 265 pounds, and they have to use all the technique and leverage that they have.
2nd and 8. 3 wide receivers for Favre this time as he retreats to pass. Brooks was the intended receiver. Ball knocked loose by James Washington. Favre was hit hard and knocked backwards by Haley.
He's going to be hit hard a lot more if he doesn't watch this. Haley is going to come in here. Charles Haley is going to take an inside move here. Leon Lett is going to come around him. I tell you, if they don't start getting this thing blocked, you see Haley with that inside move, then they get the double, then they let come free. They aren't going to be able to hold the ball a long time to do much passing today.
You can forget about staying in the pocket because there won't be a pocket.
I think Charles Haley is probably the most dominating pass rusher in the game today.
Reggie Cobb is the ball carrier. That was 3rd and 8. Doesn't get the first down.
That was kind of a give up. I think that when you have trouble with your pass protection, then you get in 3rd and long, and you kind of get where you kind of pull your horns in because you're afraid that your pass protection won't hold up. So you don't pass the ball, you run it, but you're not going to get a first down anyway. You're short, now you have to punt it.
4th and 2. The way Chris Jackie hit that first field goal that he made from 50 yards, this is not really out of his range, but Mike Holmgren's not going to take a chance because if he missed, they bring it back to the spot of the kick.
Yeah, I think Mike Holmgren and the Packers right now are playing a field position game, trying to give the Cowboys the ball inside the 20.
Craig Hendrick to kick. Angling to the corner, and he gets the job done. That's a fine punt. Good job.
Yeah, you know, to me, Charles Haley caused that whole thing because if they were able to block Haley, I think they would have passed on 3rd down. The fact that they couldn't, that they were having trouble on that left side, they couldn't get Haley blocked. Then they decided, well, let's just run it at him. If we don't get the first down, we'll punt him and let our defense play. But that guy there, I think you can give credit for what just happened.
He and Leon Lett together present a pretty formidable package.
He's worried about this game starting at 11:30 today. He said he usually doesn't wake up much before 1 or 2.
Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston behind Troy Aikman, and Jay Novacek is the move man. And Aikman will throw out of the end zone. Firing deep, he's got Harper. Alvin Harper to the Green Bay 30, 20, 10, touchdown. Aikman to Harper. 94 yards.
It all starts with pass protection. Watch Nate Newton here. He draws Reggie White, and we said if the Cowboys are going to do anything, they have to get Reggie White blocked. Good pass protection, great pass protection. Let Troy Aikman do a pump and then shoot it deep to Alvin Harper.
A perfect strike.
I tell you, it all starts with that pass protection, and so far, the Cowboy offensive line is dominated.
Bonio for the extra point. 94 yards. Aikman to Harper. Longest play in playoff history.
I'll tell you, you have to say that Ernie Zampese had a lot of guts. You know, you get there and you could say, well, let's play ball control. Let's try and run it to Emmett to get it out of there. Ernie Zampese doesn't think that way, Pat. Ernie thinks, what the heck, if we can do it in one strike, why race 10 or 12 plays? There's Ernie right here. He's looking at there now and said, well, that was a good one. Whew.
Well, here's the key to the whole thing, as you said.
Yeah, I think so. I think, and you know, if you don't get Reggie White blocked, you know that you're not going to be able to throw the ball. Watch Nate Newton. He just squares up on him, keeps that big 340-pound body right in front of him, fights him there in the line. That's the toughest place to pass protect there is.
Great footwork by a guy who had a dislocated toe.
And then you look at Alvin Harper and you think, why don't they throw it toward Alvin Harper?
They said they had to get him involved and look at the guy who threw it.
Anyway, they were starting to ask some questions about him. He's doing his celebration there, Pat. He's 100 miles away, or 100 yards, well, maybe 100 miles. I don't know where he is. 100 yards away from Alvin Harper.
Bonio the kickoff, 14-3 Dallas.
These Cowboys are explosive today, this offense. Woo.
Something about the playoffs and Alvin Harper. Corey Harris at the 7 for Green Bay. There was some collision on that kickoff by Gant. The NFC playoff picture then. The winner of this game to play San Francisco. Green Bay beat Detroit 16-12 at Lambeau Field. Chicago surprised Minnesota last week. And then the 49ers showed their form, which has been tremendous, 44-15 over the Bears yesterday. In the AFC, Miami by 10 over Kansas City. Cleveland beat New England. And yesterday, Pittsburgh beat Cleveland 29-9. First and 10 Packers at their own 25.
I'll tell you, they got this crowd in this thing now, Pat.
Favre trying to get it out to Brooks in too big of a hurry.
I think the Packers have been demoralized here. You know, they had, and it all started again. I go back to Charles Haley. He gets that pass rush, then they pull in their horns a little, then they run the ball. They don't get a first down, then they try and punt to get field position. They start to feel pretty good about themselves again now, and whap! Old Aikman hits Harper, and all that confidence just goes right out through your toes.
And it's 14-3, second and 10. We're still in the first quarter. Favre to throw it quickly to Mark Shimura. Stopped by Dixon Edwards and Robert Jones.
And that's what he has to do. If he gets that second and long, he has to get some of it off. And these are the situations that he wants to operate in. You know, that 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, that one. Not that 3rd and long where he gets that big pass rush and that nickel defense that these Cowboys play as well or better than anyone.
You saw tight end Mark Shimura limp back to the huddle. He's become one of Favre's favorites. Favre out of the pocket. Slides a little too soon, maybe.
Well, he saw Charles Haley coming again. I mean, Haley was getting upfield against Ken Rutgers, and then he went underneath. And again, he was going to be the guy that was right there. They better get Haley double, and they better get Favre. I mean, even if they have to keep a tight end and just double that guy, not let him run up and under and around the field the way he's doing.
They talk about Favre having happy feet. Perhaps they're a little bit more on the nervous side now.
Well, Charles Haley hasn't left any of his stuff on the shelf today.
This is a good punt. Fielded at the 20 by Kevin Williams. Well, you were saying a minute ago John, that for the first time, the Cowboys are using that helmet microphone and helmet receiver to Troy Aikman. They've never done it before this year.
And it sure worked on that last drive. He has the receiver in his helmet. You can see before the game, he said that he wanted the volume turned up. So they have a guy here who just works on helmets for quarterback. So he couldn't hear well enough, so he put some more volume in it. Now the play comes from Ernie Zampese. Then it goes to Jason Garrett. And Jason Garrett, the backup quarterback, talks to Troy Aikman.
This is Emmitt Smith, who breaks through the right side for good yardage out to almost the 30.
Emmitt Smith told us yesterday that hamstring feels pretty good. But I don't know that he didn't do something right at the end of that play to it.
Could be. He had one of his calves bandaged earlier.
Yeah, but I think the thing they have to worry about in that look right there is a hamstring.
You can see the blood on his sock. You think that's hamstring?
Yeah, I sure do. I think that at the end of that play, I think he felt a twinge in his hamstring.
Blair Thomas has taken his place. Look at Emmitt again.
Because it's not just a twist or anything. I think when he makes that cut right there and he puts that pressure on it, you see how that left leg went down there again? That kind of went down the same way it went down when he pulled the hamstring. And it may not be a pull again, but just look at that face. If it's not a pull, there's a twinge in that hamstring.
There's Emmitt standing up on the sideline trying to stretch. Blair Thomas has taken his place. And the handoff is to Blair Thomas. That's close to a first down. Jurkovic made the stop. Emmitt, as you mentioned, on December 19th did this against New Orleans.
Well, here it is, and you can just see, watch when he steps there, that left leg, he just let it go. In fact, he was talking yesterday about it, that the minute that he felt that thing pull or tear, he just let it go and never took another step or push or movement on it. I think he feels something in there now, and he's just waiting to see if it's going to stay or go away.
Off to a fast start in this game. First down, Dallas. Aikman back to throw. Novacek chased by Fred Strickland, the linebacker, but a first down at midfield, just inside midfield.
Hey, that transmitter isn't bothering Troy Aikman today. He's as sharp as I've seen him all year. Well, that's just how he gets back, compact, always has that ball up there, makes his read, perfect spiral. I'll tell you, when Troy Aikman is hot, he can be very, very close to perfect.
Larry Allen has gone out of the game, limped off, replaced by Ron Stone at right tackle.
I think that could be a big loss. Everyone is saying that if there's been one great surprise for the Cowboys, it's been Larry Allen.
That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Dallas 14, Green Bay 3.
Bruker was on the sidelines for the Green Bay Packers. He did not play. 9 years later with the Steelers, he was slated to start, but was injured during the coin toss. And where was he when they wanted to send him in Super Bowl 21? Searching for his lost contact lens. Although he's never played, Elmer Bruker was a member of every winning Super Bowl team until he retired last year from the world champion Cowboys.
I look at it this way, I had a great seat for every game.
To Elmer and armchair quarterbacks everywhere, Miller Lite says thanks for letting us play a part in the Super Bowl.
It feels weird not being there. Tell me about it.
Pat Summerall with John Madden. Dallas leading Green Bay 14-3 as we begin the second quarter. Just on the Green Bay side of the 50. First and 10, Dallas. Novacek moves. And Aikman will throw. Michael Irvin still on his feet.
I'll tell you, Reggie White gave Troy Aikman a hit that time.
Right now, for an update, let's send you down to the sideline to Ron Pitts.
All right, Pat and John, you know, initially coming out the field, it didn't look that bad for Emmitt Smith. But checking him out on the sideline here, he had his head down in his towel, and whatever it is, it's not good. He is worried about it. He is concerned about it, and we'll check it out. We'll get back to you on that a little later on.
All right, Ron. Blair Thomas, in the meantime, on 2nd and 5, has taken Emmitt Smith's place. And Thomas gets the carry. Gets across the 45 to the 44. Reggie White made the first hit.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Nate Newton blocking Reggie White so successfully on that big one to Harper. The last two, Reggie rose to the occasion here. He's been on Nate Newton. Watch him on the play before. Here comes Reggie White there, and he's going to hit Troy Aikman just as he throws the ball. That was Nate's man. Then on the next play, he made another one.
It's 3rd and 5. 3 wide receivers. Incomplete. Intended for Kevin Williams. Broken up by Corey Harris. There's Emmitt Smith trying to stretch that hamstring.
Yeah, it's that same hamstring. Yep. It's that left hamstring, and the thing is you know your body. I mean, a professional athlete, a great athlete like Emmitt Smith, knows his body better than anyone. And when something happens to it, then you're just trying to stop everything and then see what's going to come back once you get it calmed down.
He's been bothered by hamstring problems all year long. John Jett back to punt. Into the end zone and out. And they'll bring it back to the 20, where the Packers will start. 13:24 left in the first half. 14-3 Dallas.
Vision at your local Eagle dealer and by 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls.
Beautiful day in Texas, in Dallas at least. 14-3, the Cowboys lead. Green Bay 1st and 10 at their own 20. Here's Brett Favre outside to Robert Brooks.
See, that's not a bad adjustment there. They're having a little trouble with their pass protection, like I said, and Charles Haley. So one of the things you can do is throw on 1st down and roll away from it. You see, he ran a little sprint out or roll that time instead of going straight back, where he goes straight back from the center. He just runs out to the right and throws on his run. That's not a bad adjustment.
And Favre is one of those guys who seems to throw better when he's moving. 2nd and 4. Bennett. Not much. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, the 49ers showed a fighter's mentality in KOing Chicago yesterday. Tim Harris has come out of retirement to deliver power punches and shots to quarterbacks. Hoping to deliver the knockout punch is Steve Young. He moves closer to the title next week in San Francisco. Back to Pat and John.
Back at Texas Stadium, Edgar Bennett, the lone back, 3rd and 3. Favre on that rollout. Gets it to Mark Shimura, the tight end, and that'll get a Packer 1st down. Again, Favre on the move.
What he did that time is he bootlegged there, and you're going to get away from Charles Haley. So he's going to come in, he's going to fake to a back coming this way. Then he's going to come this way. Here's Haley here, so he wants to stay away from all this stuff and get on out here and see what he can find. See, he makes that fake, then the bootleg, then he gets outside of Tolbert. Now he has some clearance to see and make that throw for the 1st down. Plus, it gets away from his left side where he's been having pressure trouble.
And that's that play that everybody's running now, where you put your quarterback at risk, but if he's an athlete like Favre, he get away from a screen pass coming to Bennett. Tripped up from behind. Green Bay with a reputation. That's Leon Lett, who I believe got a hand on him to trip him up, and now he's down.
One of the things the Cowboys Cowboys were really concerned with. In fact, Jimmy Johnson was talking about it in the pregame show about the screen pass and how they were going to play the screen pass. And I think we just saw it there. The linemen, once they see Bennett get up in there, once you see he gets up in there, they're going to come right down the line of scrimmage. And you see that's what Leon Lett did. And just as he made that tackle, he was speared by Guy McIntyre. Did you see that?
Right in the kidneys.
But that's what that was a read that they want. When you see that fullback up in there, just come right down the line for the screen pass.
Lett is up and walking. There's the hit that stunned him. The word on Emmitt Smith is it is a problem with his hamstring again. Larry Allen has a sprained knee. He may or may not be back. It looks like he will. Leon Lett just had the wind knocked out of him, but he's replaced by Chad Henning. Edgar Bennett makes the catch. Robert Jones makes the tackle.
You don't think Brett Favre know where Charles Haley is? Look at those eyes. He's looking at him. Boy, this guy's coming all day. He's just coming. And even when he doesn't get here, here's Haley, and he's just going to be right there. And even though, you know, Favre's a tough guy, he doesn't look at any rush or not, but he knows that that guy is right there. I mean, he knows every time he throws the ball, he looks at his face. He goes, oh, not you, old 94 again.
And Haley might have reminded him, it's me again.
I don't think Haley has to say anything. I think Favre knows it.
Favre with protection this time, going deep. And out of bounds. Well out of bounds. Charles Jordan was the nearest Packer, and the Packers will have to punt.
Well, if there's anything that has disrupted this Green Bay offense in this first half, it's been Charles Haley. And I think you don't have to tell Brett Favre that. I think he knows that as well as anyone. Because the success he's had throwing, he's been either bootlegging or rolling or sprinting away from that side. Haley's going to make all world in this first half. It's not even 1 o'clock yet.
That's true, it's not. Greg Hendrick to punt. Another good kick. This one hangs up forever. Bounces into the end zone, and they'll bring it back where the Cowboys will start from their own 20-yard line. Dallas leading 14-3. Back at Texas Stadium, the NFC divisional playoff match between the Packers and the Cowboys, with Dallas leading 14-3. They have the ball first and 10 at their own 20. Larry Allen is back in the offensive lineup at right tackle, and Blair Thomas is the deep back.
Big Nate took off. He got that stuff moving forward, and he couldn't stop it. He said, isn't it something, you weigh 340 pounds.
By the offense, number 61, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
He was open.
Yeah, he was open. Yeah, he just threw an air ball there, but he said, you know, it's something, you weigh 340 pounds, and all that weight goes on a 16-ounce toe. Yeah, and they knew it. See, and that reaction is, you know, not only did I do it, but the whole country watched me do it.
First and 15, Aikman. Michael Irvin. Irvin still battling in the Green Bay territory. Out of bounds at the Green Bay 32. Well, there are a lot of questions about his health, and it looks like he's back.
And how about Troy Aikman's health and how he's back? But these guys work so well together because he's just anticipating that move. And just, you see what happens, just as Michael Irvin just took that first step out of the break, that ball was right there where he didn't have to stop, he didn't have to reach back, he didn't even have to break stride.
First and 10 Cowboys at the Packer 32. Aikman's going to throw again. Novacek to the 25. Picked up about 8. Bryce Paup and Fred Strickland brought him down.
Troy Aikman is still playing with that brace on his knee. In fact, he said he felt so good. The knee feels so good that he was going to try and not play with the brace, but the doctors and trainers said that you're going to have to do it because he thought when he first came back, maybe against Cleveland, he came back too soon. And, you know, and the brace did bother him earlier, but now he said he's getting used to it and he's adjusted to it. And he looks like he's used to and adjusted to everything today.
8 out of 11. Back to throw again is Aikman, out to Blair Thomas. And Thomas gets near a Cowboy first down before he's brought down by Bryce Paup.
Yeah, we always talk about rack. You know, what is rack? Rack is a run after the catch. If you look, the Cowboys have passed for 209 yards so far, but they've gotten 125 yards after the catch. And I tell you, part of that is guys like Michael Irvin are running with the ball. The other part is Troy Aikman hitting them where they don't have to break stride.
3rd and short. Aikman throws deep for Novacek, who made the catch at about the 1-foot line. A diving catch by Jay Novacek.
That was a heck of a call by Ernie Zampese. They get up in short yardage and they fake a run, and then Aikman bootlegs. You don't see Aikman bootleg a lot. They get in there short yardage and you think it's going to be a run. You see him fake the run to the left, bootleg out to the right. He's looking for Jay Novacek all the way, and again he makes a perfect throw. This guy this half has made almost every throw has been a perfect throw.
1st and goal at the 1. Heck of an effort by Novacek and a good throw. Nobody was going to catch that but the tight end, Jay Novacek. 7:29 left to play in the 2nd quarter. Dallas leading and trying for more.
They have ESP, man. I've seen them on the field like cosmic twins. ESP. It's a special message for Michael and Troy.
Tonight.
Back at Texas Stadium, look at the catch by Novacek.
Of course, first of all, we watch a bootleg. When both backs go this way, Aikman fakes to him and then comes this way. But look at the effect that it has on those linebackers. See, now he's going to fake, and then look, everyone's there. Now if we look down in the other picture here up on top, you see Jay Novacek just breaks behind, and Aikman, because of that fake, got Novacek just one-on-one out in the open field.
1st and goal. Blair Thomas doesn't get in. Fred Strickland stacked it up along with a lot of green-shirted help.
And they're going to need Emmitt Smith in this run to the Super Bowl. And these are the types of situations where you need Emmitt Smith. Remember the last time they were down here in the goal line, they ran the same kind of play behind Nate Newton, who just see him limping there. He got that big right toe dislocated. But this is a place that if you had Emmitt Smith, just hand him the ball, he may go in there again untouched.
Blair Thomas, the deep back. Darrell Johnson in front of him. Aikman. Nobody close. Just had to get rid of it.
See how you get a great running back that you rely on so much in short yardage and goal line, and you get him out of there, and it changes everything you're trying to do. Now you don't have confidence in the run, so now you have to go to the play pass. You have to try and trick them down here instead of just using your big offensive line and powering them.
3rd and goal at the 1. Blair Thomas. He'll get in. Nate Newton limping badly. Darrell Johnston got the key block for Blair Thomas.
That's a big advantage to this Cowboy team, is having a big, strong, powerful offensive line and a fullback that blocks like number 48, Darrell Johnston. Watch him here in the lead. You're going to get number 48 and 61. Johnston right there, boom. Newton right there sealing off the inside, and no one is going to touch Blair Thomas. You know, that Johnston is just like having another guard, too.
He's about 250. Always seems to pick the right guy. Chris Bonio for the extra point with Novacek holding. Is good. And the Cowboys lead it 21-3. 6:45 left to play in the first half. Reggie White, Packers' great defensive lineman, has 145 career sacks, the all-time NFL career leader. Our Aflac trivia question is, how many different NFL quarterbacks has Reggie White sacked in that great career? We'll let you know the Aflac answer right after the kickoff.
I'd say 250.
Different quarterback.
Yeah. Because I'd count playoffs, regular season. I'd count practice. I'd count when he was in the World Football League or the USFL.
At Tennessee, maybe.
I'd count when he was at Tennessee.
Well, I think you're low then.
I would count when he played in the streets. You know, you just choose up sides and say, you be quarterback, I'll rush.
I bet he was the first guy picked.
Yeah, but maybe not, because he may have been too big. You know, I mean, guys that are big like old Reggie, you're always, you know, you just block all the time, you rush all the time, or if you're playing heats, you guard the fort all the time. If you play baseball, you're the catcher or the backstop.
Yeah, you block the plate all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. You block and you guard stuff if you're that big.
Corey Harris and Charles Jordan back deep for the Packers. Dallas leading 21-3. Second quarter. Chris Bonio to kick it off.
Oh, Kenny Gantz back there firing up that crowd before this. And then I'll tell you, he runs downfield pretty good, too. He and Bill Bates.
He does. Good job by the kickoff coverage teams. They downed the Packers at the 25. The Aflac trivia question: how many different NFL quarterbacks has Reggie White sacked in his career? On Thanksgiving Day, Jason Garrett was number 55.
So the answer is 55.
Right.
See what happened is
NFL.
I missed the word NFL. I'm
Right.
sorry. Yeah, that just blew right over my head.
Well, there's Jason Garrett, who's calling the plays into Troy Aikman.
He still has that smile on his face from Thanksgiving Day. He has a bigger smile. He's happier about what Troy's doing than Troy is about what Troy's doing.
Back is far. To Anthony Morgan, and a Packer first down.
Troy's mother and father are here. They're probably happier than Troy is about what he's doing.
There's Reggie White.
He's giving a speech now. There's Troy Aikman's mother right here, father right here, sitting up there watching their son. They don't have anything to be nervous about now. He's looking pretty good.
And looking very healthy.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing that the mothers worry about.
Yep.
Now the fathers do too, but the mothers really worry about it.
The fathers just don't show it. The rush puts Favre, and he gets to Brooks down the middle of the field. And Brooks could go. Brooks out of bounds at the Cowboy 4. Just inside the 5, Kevin Smith finally knocked him out of bounds. This has become, Robert Brooks has become Favre's go-to guy since the injury to Sharp. That he's responded.
But you're going to see the Charles Jordan, number 80, makes a heck of a block downfield, too. But watch Favre. Here's what his pass rush is looking like. So he steps up. You see, when he steps up, then down here he sees Brooks. Brooks broke just as he stepped up. Brooks broke right in the middle of the field. Now watch right there. Boom, number 80, Jordan makes that block, and that gets Brooks almost to the end zone.
First and goal from the 4. Packer timeout. They had all 3 of theirs left until that. Favre wasn't sure, so he took a timeout.
You know, one thing I think we're seeing a lot more of in the NFL are, you know, deep passes. I think they're trying more deep passes. And the other thing is, maybe because of that, other wide receivers making blocks. Like yesterday, Jerry Rice looked like he was all over the place making blocks and stuff. On that last play, we just saw that Robert Brooks caught it, but Charles Jordan, about the 15-yard line, made a heck of a block down there.
Brooks, again, was a running back in college at South Carolina.
And I watch him try and get that ball in there. I mean, he knows that he has to be inside the pylon. The pylon is out of bounds, and it looked like he was out of bounds before he ever got to the pylon.
I think he had stepped out of bounds back at about the 4. That's where they marked it.
But they always want touchdowns, but when they get inside that 5, they can really smell that goal line. They're going to dive for it, even if they did step out of bounds.
First and goal at the 4.
You know, Charles Haley wasn't in on that pass rush. In fact, you see him standing there on the sideline. He's not in now either, but Favre can do things. That's the old, the mice play when the cat's away.
Favre is going to throw, and does. Incomplete, intended for Dorsey Levens, I believe. Incomplete, yes. His back was to us. Now it's not.
Yeah, you see here, that thing kind of wobbled out of there, but it just went right through his hands, and then by the time he got control of it, he was out of bounds, but he did catch it. But when
he was juggling.
He didn't have control of it. It was going out of his hands, and by the time he got control of it again, he was out of bounds.
Edgar Bennett will be the lone back behind Favre this time, as they have 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers. Bennett close to the goal line, to about the 1, stopped by Tony Tolbert.
You see what Brett Favre did that time. This is what quarterbacks do with that bootleg being such a big play. After they hand off on a run, they always fake or check bootleg. And if we watch it here, once you hand off to Bennett, now Favre is going to fake it and then come on out here to see if that bootleg is going to be there on another play. This is what you call set up. See him hand up? You see Favre come out here and looking? He's looking to see how they defended that.
Levens and Bennett behind Favre this time, and he rolls. Favre is high in the end zone and incomplete. Shimura was the intended receiver, and there was nothing there.
Favre could have ran that one in, though. There was nothing there to pass, but the run was there. When he started to get flushed out here to the left, it looked like to me that he just could have just taken off and made that end zone. I think Mike Holmgren has decided he's going to go for it here on 4th down. But if you watch here, he's rolling to the right, looking to the right, there's nothing there. Now as he comes back to his left, I think right there he doesn't see anything. He could have just taken off and ran that ball in.
So it's 4th and goal at the 1. Favre to Bennett. He gets the touchdown for Green Bay. Edgar Bennett brings the Packers closer. A lot of Packer fans here made the trip down from Wisconsin.
Yep, and I think Packer fans are great fans. If you talk about loyal people and people that love their team, that's Green Bay Packer fans. This watch here is just going to be a lead. You see the lead is a halfback. Bennett just gets right in there. They get a little movement there. Bennett gets down low and gets underneath all the Cowboys' power.
Green Bay going for 2. Favre stays in the game. It's 21-9. This would make it, if they are successful, 21-11. All kind of charts that tell you what to do when about this attempt at 2-point conversions. Green Bay has 1 out of 4 this year. Favre, the quarterback. Brooks, the man in motion. Favre's going to throw it. Knocked away and not good. James Washington back with Shimura. So the score remains 21-9 with 4.5 minutes. Well, for a long, long time, John Madden has been searching for a home for the Hall of Fame, and finally, it's been located. Good-looking place.
Well, it is. You know, we stopped here. This is a truck stop in Greenville, Illinois. We stopped in there, and they got laundry rooms, restrooms, hotel rooms for $12.95, the whole deal. And I thought, you know, it's kind of the 75th anniversary of the NFL, and kind of throwbacks. And maybe go to an old throwback truck stop, huh?
Terrific idea, the All-Madden team, Sunday, January 22nd. The throwback All-Madden team. The 11th annual. It doesn't seem possible.
I know, 11 times. It is amazing. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, just the players and the players, and in the show and doing the whole thing. It's been a part of everything, and and you really get to know the players. And it has to be players that we've seen and done, and we scout and we got all this stuff going on, but it kind of all comes together.
And now we have a place for the Hall of Fame. Greenville, Illinois. Hendrick will do the kicking off. Brock Marion and Kevin Williams back deep for Dallas. Kevin Williams. There he goes again. To midfield is Kevin Williams. He has really hurt the Packers.
And if you're going to kick the ball to that right side, if you're going to directional kick it, and you're going to get them pinned down there, which they do, see, they directional kick it, and they get them pinned down in this area, now your coverage has to come to that area. You have to shrink that whole field from the numbers to the sideline. You can't get spread out or blocked like that.
He gets the ball into Packer territory. 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 48. Emmitt Smith still on the bench. Blair Thomas is the deep back. And Aikman's going to throw. Novacek behind the back, one-handed.
That's the thing that Ernie Zampese's doing. He's going for it right now on 1st down. You see him, 1st down, they've gotten 218 yards, which is going to get you more 1st downs on 1st down. A lot of guys will, run and wait to do stuff on 2nd and 3rd. Ernie's taking this game. He's going right after him on 1st.
2nd and 5. Blair Thomas again, replacing Emmitt Smith. Aikman straight back. Novacek, 1st down. Shimura of the Packers has an injured right knee.
Talking about injuries, there's Eric Williams right there that I think was not only the best tackle in football, but the best offensive lineman in football. In an automobile accident, and the Cowboys lost him for the season. But when you think of Hall of Fame players, this guy was on that road.
Oh, he was headed in that direction, no doubt about it.
You hope to see him back. I mean, because offensive linemen don't dominate a lot, but Eric Williams was a dominant offensive lineman.
Handoff to Thomas. Inside the Packer 35, about the 33. Jurkovic tripped him up.
And Eric Williams has done a lot with Larry Allen. I mean, he's there. He's watching him all the time. He's talking to him about guys that he's playing against. And I think that Larry Allen, for a rookie, has been an amazing guy. I mean, here's a guy, he came from Sonoma State.
Right.
And, and no one ever heard of him or ever heard of Sonoma State. Here the guy is starting in the NFL.
2nd and 8. And here's Aikman back. Pass is caught again by Novacek. Not enough for a 1st down, but close to it. Very close.
When Aikman gets in a groove, and he's in a groove now, he just looks like whatever he wants to do, he's going to do, and it's going to work.
2-minute warning as Aikman heads over to the sideline. Cowboys leading 21-9.
This Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by IBM.
3rd and short for the Cowboys at the Packer 27-yard line. There's Emmitt Smith. He's smiling.
Well, I think he's probably smiling because he's accepted the fact that he isn't going to play today and that he did re-injure that hamstring.
3rd and short. Jay Novacek, by the way, has caught 7 passes, and that's the most he's caught in a game this year. And we're in the second quarter.
Aikman has one security blanket. Novacek may be that blanket.
He's on the move. Aikman gives to Blair Thomas. I don't know if he got that first down or not. It looked like he was late getting there.
And then when he did get there, he ran into a whole bunch of guys who sent him back where he just came from. And this, I mean, if there's anything that's hurting the Cowboys right now, and they seem to be hitting on all cylinders, it's not having Emmitt Smith in there to run those short yardage and goal line plays, because Blair Thomas did not make that.
Play looked sort of out of sync.
Yeah, it was. As you said, it was a little late. In fact, I don't even know that they're going to measure it. The Cowboys don't care because they got their kicking team in anyway.
They are going to measure.
Yeah, the officials they want a measurement.
But it's about a half-yard short.
Yeah, just to get the crowd to yell, go for it. So I used to always tell the guys, don't measure it. Don't measure it. Just let me kick, and they wouldn't let you kick. Then the guy will show you. You see, he'll show you that much. That's all you got to do. See what the crowd does? See?
Yeah.
The officials did that. Barry Switzer's there. He's all right. He's nice. He got a nice game. He's ready to kick.
Now he changed his mind.
Then he changed his mind. The crowd got to it. The officials did that. Holy moly, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
His measure is shorter than the official.
Yeah, I know it. It was bigger than that.
It's about a half-yard.
Ernie Zampese's up there. He was probably waiting for defense. Now he has to call another play. Let's see what Ernie's going to send down here.
Monio was already out. Novacek was back kneeling down.
Yeah. I used to always tell him if it was short and I knew it, I'd tell him, don't mark it. Don't get this crowd up on me.
Aikman to Blair Thomas, who got the first down. Over the top. Behind Newton and Tuanay. Fred Strickland made the tackle.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing to do. Maybe Barry Switzer said, if that's all we got to do, I'll just chew this gum. Oh! He had to get a little English going there. I think he gets a pat on the back and everything. You think the old coach did it.
Time to light up for Ernie.
Yeah, after that one, Ernie was all ready to kick a field goal there. Now he has to keep calling plays.
Aikman back to throw. Harper was the intended receiver, and Aikman was off target. Broke it off before he expected to, one of the two.
Troy Aikman had been almost perfect until this drive. He threw that one, remember earlier, to Jay Novacek, where he made a great catch. He threw it a little behind him. And that one there, he threw it over and outside. High outside fastball.
He had to look up at the replay scoreboard up on top of the stadium. Second and 10. Novacek again, the man in motion, and Aikman again back to throw it. That's to Darrell Johnston down inside the 20. Don't forget, coming up on the Dockers halftime, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will take a look at the first half action between the Packers and the Cowboys. The winner, of course, will take on the 49ers in San Francisco for the NFC Championship. That's all coming up on the Dockers halftime. This is a Cowboy timeout. They have one left.
You know, this is where earlier in the season, when the Cowboys offensively were hitting on all cylinders, they used to throw that skinny post in there to Alvin Harper from this position.
Emmitt Smith stretching that hamstring.
Yeah, it's that left hamstring.
Yeah, remember the first of the year he hurt the right one. That finally got well. Then this is the second or third time he's hurt the left one.
Well, you can see he's heavy muscle, and that's where he gets his power. And he gets that power from those big legs and hamstrings. Here's the play that he was injured on today. You see, I think it was right there when he made that move and kind of kicked a little, then came down on it, and as he came down on it, he tried to push off.
And when your hamstring is pulled or torn or whatever, it can be a long-lasting problem.
Yeah, and that is a look on Emmitt Smith's face. Emmitt Smith's face is just haven't accepted it.
There's that post-pattern flag on the play, however. That quick close to Irvin.
whistle up. Maybe there wasn't a flag on the play.
Michael Irvin to the 5-yard line.
They're at the 5. Let's see what Ed Hockley has to say.
Offsides on the defense, number 95. The penalty is declined. First down.
Michael Irvin might have hurt his wrist making that last catch.
Yeah, that left wrist, but Michael Irvin's up on top. You see, and he just takes that right hand and slaps the defensive back, knocks him to the inside, and then he runs that quick post in there.
And the ball was on the way before he ever made his cut. It's the left wrist of Michael Irvin.
Or finger, or a hand. It's something on that left extremity.
Yep.
Sometimes it's hard to tell when they got those gloves on. You can't see it.
Aikman. Out of bounds at about the 4. Maybe the 3.5. George Kuntz knocked him out of bounds.
Yeah, if you look from the reverse angle at that hit, you're going to see the helmet right there go on that arm, right on that wrist or hand or whatever it is.
And Michael Irvin still in pain as they check him out.
Well, now we're all the way up to the elbow. You know, it can be one of those things that just got the whole arm. You know how you get those stingers.
The old funny bone. Blair Thomas down to about the 1. Clock still running at 19. Here comes Irvin back.
But it is. He's a warrior. I mean, he thinks there's probably a call in there. Michael Irvin's not going to come in there and not be a threat. But he may even be bringing a play in there, or someone saying getting him in there, because, you know, with his big body and his strength, and when you have to throw the ball down here, he's the guy you want to throw it to. Although he doesn't look like he's thinking too much about catching anything, does he?
Not right now. It might be, as you say, just one of those hits to the funny bone, or that numb the whole arm and shoulder and fingertips as well. Who knows? You do know he's a tough guy.
Yeah, he is. You know, anytime you're from a family of 17 kids, you know he's going to be a tough guy. And he's always played tough. I mean, you know, some receivers, you know, they like to go up, they like to go outside, they like to do the dances, but they're not as interested in the collision on the inside as others. Michael Irvin, you know, and guys like Jerry Rice and all the great receivers, they'll take it wherever it's thrown. Wherever they have to go to catch a ball, they'll go.
That's why you always use the word great when you talk about it. Ball at the 2. 18 seconds. Dallas is out of timeouts. Blair Thomas, the deep back. Aikman to throw it. Incomplete. A flag on the play. Harper, the intended receiver. Buckley was the defender for Green Bay, but he was all over Harper.
And of course, that'll be an automatic first down too. But as you said, Dallas doesn't have any more timeouts, so I would think with the first down, you still have to throw the ball.
15 seconds left. I think you're right.
Because they're going to get a half a distance to the goal line penalty, which would put you in a good location to run.
Foul on the play. Number 96 of the defense lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. There was also pass interference by the defense, number 27. That penalty is enforced. First down on the 1-yard line.
First down at the 1.
You see the location. That's Terrell Buckley is number 27, and he looks like he has his right hand on Alvin Harper the whole way.
No question about it.
But, you know, if you look at the ball right here, the location of the ball says that you ought to run it with first down. But you look up here with just 15 seconds left up here and no timeouts, I think this makes this a pass situation.
Almost got to throw it.
Unless you had Emmitt Smith there.
Well, that's a different story. Aikman, touchdown to Scott Galbraith, wide open in the end zone. How did he get so open?
Well, you know, you wonder how he does. You watch him. Here's Scott Galbraith right here. But again, I think looks like he's coming on a double team, then he just goes right across and no one's looking for him because most of them went for the play fake.
Bonio for the extra point. With 11 seconds left to play in the first half, it's Dallas 28, Green Bay 9. Well, they started this game at 11:30 here in Irving, Texas in the morning, but that didn't stop those who love the barbecue.
You see they're taking Emmitt Smith in. I think that's just to get him ready. And here, if you start like this is kind of a lonely start.
Yeah.
Look, there's not much out there.
Not much hot yet either.
Now there is a hot tamale. That is,
yeah.
That looks like a pretty good tamale. I love tamale.
I've seen you in action.
Oh yeah, I can eat like 50 of those.
A little stir fry.
Yeah, you just throw it all in there. Don't worry about that. Yeah, dump the whole thing in. Why does he even bring a spoon? Just go plop, plop, plop it in there. But that's not bad for, what time was that? Around 8:39 in the morning, because this game started at 11:30.
Got to have a place in the Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame, for the tamales.
Scott Galbraith is still, he's not worried about tamales or big old beef in a stir fry. He's worried about that football, that pigskin. He's not going to let that thing get away.
Corey Harris, Charles Jordan back deep for the Packers. Bonio bounces it down, slips through about 4 people, and is still bouncing. Jordan finally picked it up inside the 5. Matt Vanderbeek down to make the stop. And he's happy about it. 28-9. The Packers have 6 seconds left. Remember Thanksgiving Day, the Packers led 17-6. And the Cowboys roared back in the second half.
And it all started with a Kevin Williams kickoff return.
Yep.
That kind of started the whole day for him, and that kind of started this first half today for the Cowboys.
And the Packers decide it's time to just run it out. And that's the end of the first half with the score Dallas 28, Green Bay 9. Stay tuned for the Dockers halftime as this Fox NFL special will continue after this message and a word from your local Fox station.
This is the Dockers halftime. 100% cotton, wrinkle-free Dockers.
All right, back here in Hollywood for the Dockers halftime report. And in fact, Dallas has been talking the talk all weekend. According to the first half, they are walking the walk, leading the Packers 28-9. And in fact, the Cowboys set the tone early. Boy, does Green Bay miss this man.
4 touchdown receptions on that Thanksgiving Day. But Emmitt Smith off to a great start, 5-yard touchdown run. This caps a 7-play drive here, 7-0 Cowboys. Aikman back, play action. Pumps down the middle. We wanted to see him go deep early to Harper. We said 65 yards. Wow, why not settle for 94? A new passing. This is the playoff record for the longest passing play. Beautiful job there. Cowboys up by 14. Aikman celebrates. Now you're seeing Emmitt Smith. This is where he re-injures his left hamstring. Has to leave the football game. At this point, 7 carries, 44 yards. Aikman out, play action, rolling right, Novacek down in the corner. Great catch by Novacek. They call him down on the 1-yard line. And then finally, Blair Thomas on a pitch, great kick block on the outside, and there you have it. Cowboys running away with this football game. But don't give up. The young man from Mississippi, Barb up, finds Brooks over the middle. Post route, somebody, where's the safeties? I don't know, get it in gear, okay. Down to the 4-yard line. Pats himself on the back, turns around, Edgar Bennett, 1-yard run. Go for two doesn't work. 21-9 Cowboys, and then Aikman back again. Second touchdown pass. This time a 1-yard pass to Scott Galbraith, as the Cowboys in the first half have totally dominated this football game.
No question about it. They set the tone right from the top, and they have gone all the way through the first half, leading it by the score of 28-9 that halftime. All right, folks, in the AFC, we know the Steelers are already waiting for the AFC title game. The Steelers will welcome either Miami or San Diego. Of course, that game coming up a little later today. But going back to the NFC, let's talk about the first half of our game. Jimmy, I go back to you. You've made the point all along. Green Bay has been executing pretty well, but they miss Sterling Sharp, the touchdown maker.
Well, you know, Green Bay's really played about like expected offensively because they really didn't have a running game. Their longest running play today is the reverse that they had to Brooks. They're not running the football, but that's what they did the last time. Thanksgiving had 29 yards. They don't have their touchdown maker in Sterling Sharp, so they're doing a decent job offensively. The big thing, though, the Cowboys against the Green Bay's defense. Troy Aikman is hot. 3 for 3 inside the 20-yard line, 7 of 9 on first down, and that is a big key. Troy Aikman's run away. Of course, that's one reason why he's 6-0 in playoff history.
Secondary is being burned by Green Bay, but what about the D-line? What's happening with Green Bay's defensive line?
Well, they're not getting the balls out quick. As Jimmy had mentioned, Troy's on fire right now. They don't need a running game, but early on they did run the ball well, and that sets up the pass. And talking to Guy McIntyre, Green Bay was talking all week about running the ball. They were going to run the ball, not quit on it. Once again, immediately, right to the air. They put on the running game immediately.
You know what, Howard? You may not see another run by Green Bay because they really are not a patient offense, and you'll see in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if you see every play that Green Bay runs is going to be a pass. And the Cowboys today, let's say, they said they could turn the switch on, and Jimmy Howe and JB, they have certainly done that.
Well, they've turned the switch on, too, against Terrell Buckley. Buckley has been, they're trying to hide him on all sides of the field throughout the year. He has been burnt all the year long. I think the only place he can hide is over on the bench.
And again, an impressive first half by Dallas, but the question is, what does Green Bay need to do to come back in this second half, and can they?
I'll tell you, they don't have it because Brooks is the kind of guy that can run the ball deep, but that short route that Sharp runs where he breaks tackles, he's a big physical wide receiver. They don't have that. Their passing game is an extension of their running game. Do you think Dallas saw that San Francisco game yesterday?
They'll throw deep. I promise you they'll throw deep in the second half. They're taking away their short stuff.
And when you promise,
hey, do I keep my promises, Howie?
Oh, look at him.
Say sir to him. Say sir.
We will keep an eye on Emmitt Smith, who, of course, left out in the first quarter, 43 yards to his credit. We'll find out how serious that injury is. Back to Dallas after this.
The Cowboys lead the Packers. We'll return to Texas Stadium for the start of the second half after these messages from your local Fox station. Dallas 28, Green Bay 9, as the teams have returned from the locker rooms to the bench areas. Here at Texas Stadium, this first half highlight is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. And it has to be the pass from Aikman to Harper.
You're going to see Alvin Harper here in the box, and he's going to end up man-to-man against Terrell Buckley. The strong safety comes up. The free safety really doesn't get over. See, when the strong safety steps up, that's put Buckley man-to-man on Alvin Harper, and he has the whole field. Troy Aikman throws a perfect pass, and Harper, he smells the end zone there.
And John, you know, I think most of the Cowboys' success has to be attributed to the hot performance of Troy Aikman.
Yeah, you know, he came out with a lot of confidence. Yeah. I mean, we saw him at the end of the year, and he was hurt, and he just didn't look like Troy. But today he came out and he did look like Troy. Now, even though Emmitt Smith got hurt early, I think he helped him establish something. I think the offensive line has done an outstanding job, and Charles Haley just gave him a big dose of first half pass rush.
From a Packer viewpoint, they told us yesterday, they talked about we have to be able to run the ball. Is it too late now to run the ball?
No, I mean, I think the Packers don't run the ball anyway, and I think to them the meaning that they have to run the ball is just run the ball a little to hold things down. I think what they have to do is they still can't block Charles Haley, so I think they're going to have to start rolling and bootlegging, getting out to the right, and using that kind of running passing game more to calm down that pass rush.
Well, they have a mountain to climb. It's 28-9. Dallas leads. as we're set to start the second half. The winner of this game to go to Candlestick next week and play those 49ers, who look so impressive down the stretch.
The 49ers are watching this one, not sure who they're going to play, but I would imagine they've had a pretty good idea for a long time.
Bonio's kick goes to Corey Harris. Just inside the 10, and Harris has got some room. He had to slow down. He got it past midfield down into Dallas territory. Derek Brownlow finally brought it down, but a good return. Let's go down to Ron Pitts now for a report.
All right, Pat and John, the worst fears have been confirmed for Dallas Cowboy fans, unfortunately. Emmitt Smith did re-injure that hamstring like we talked about. Talked to him going up the tunnel. He was already taking his stuff off. He says, I'm done today, boss. If there's any good news, it's the fact that he said he didn't hurt it as bad as he hurt it in New Orleans. Michael Irvin, he said he got a helmet on the hand. He wanted to get an x-ray on it. He gave me the thumbs up sign just a few minutes ago, so he's ready to go back in. Pat?
All right, Ron, thank you. 1st and 10 Packers at the Dallas 41. Good return. Put them in good shape. And here's the reverse to Brooks coming again. The Cowboys shut it down early this time. Robert Jones, Tony Tolbert make the stop.
Yeah, that was their biggest run, I think, in the first half, that reverse to Robert Brooks. So they probably looked at that at halftime and said, what's been our best run? And they said the reverse to Brooks. And said, well, let's bring that one out again. Then the defense, Butch Davis, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, was probably looking at his charts and saying the only run they made any yardage on of consequence was that reverse. So let's be aware of that. And the Cowboys were.
So it's second and about 8. And Favre back to throw it. Pass is picked off by Kevin Smith. Intended for Anthony Morgan. Favre intercepted by Kevin Smith. So the good kickoff return goes for naught.
Yeah, Brett Favre was leading Anthony Miller in. It was that slant pattern. He was leading him to the inside. And it looks like Morgan stops. And then you see Kevin Smith just jump inside. See where Morgan kind of stopped there and just put his arm out. Kevin Smith saw that ball coming the whole way. I think what he was trying to do is lead Anthony Morgan in there, and he led Kevin Smith in there instead.
That's just another example of miscommunication on a timing pattern between the quarterback and the receiver. 1st and 10 Dallas at their own 28. We won't see Emmitt Smith again as Aikman retreats to throw. Fires outside to Novacek. That's his 8th catch of the day, out of bounds at about the 34-yard line.
You know, if you watch, and you watched last week and how Reggie White was going and just all over the field, you watch him now. In the first half, this Cowboy group has calmed him down. Because you just watch that pass rush. Nate Newton, again, he was on Nate Newton. Nate just has him now. That doesn't mean that he's going to keep him. But right now, he has him.
Nate, we understand from the Cowboy bench, has a problem in his left calf in addition to the dislocated big right toe that he suffered last Friday. But he's still playing. 2nd and 3, Blair Thomas. The deep back. But Aikman works in the air to Novacek. And Novacek will have that first down and more. To the 45. Butler made the stop.
And a lot of that is just Troy Aikman just getting rid of the ball so quickly. You know, I mean, he takes that short drop and just throws it all over. If you look beyond 15 yards, he's only thrown 2 times and 1 for the touchdown. So where he's been working, 4 for 5 to the left, 7 for 10 and a TD right in the middle, and 4 for 4 to the right, all under 15 yards, and including a lot of crossing patterns.
9 of them to Novacek. Fakes the draw play, dumps it out to Blair Thomas, who can't hang on. Pressure on Aikman that time from the Packer front.
Yeah, these again, the Cowboys have really had great mixture. I mean, they've run just enough to keep things there. They've thrown to the tight end. They've thrown to the running back. They've thrown to the wide receivers. They've thrown deep just enough to make them think that, hey, we can't press everything, because they will go deep on it.
2nd and 10. Thomas. from Reggie White, but not away from Jan Jurkovic. A couple of the players that would like to continue.
Yeah, if you just watch Reggie White here, and you'll see how he plays the right. You know, he's always down low, and Allen came down on him that time. Larry Allen, he made that block on him earlier too. So what they're trying to do is block down on Reggie and then or run outside him. They had some success with that play when Emmitt Smith ran it.
3rd and 10. See if they can get him blocked on this passing down. He's over Kennard. First down.
He just takes that ball and gets back and just gets it out of there so quickly. And if we look where Reggie White is lined up in the first half, you see he lined up 7 times over Derek Kennard, only 1 time over Mark Stepnoski, the center, and he lined up 16 times over Nate Newton. I would have to say that Kennard, Stepnoski, with his help of Kennard and Newton, that group has won that triangle battle in the middle.
So far, here's Aikman to throw it again. Irvin, the intended receiver, incomplete. Bryce Popp got a hand on it.
Yeah, that was good depth for a big linebacker like Bryce Popp. You always think of Popp as a pass rushing guy because, in fact, he made the Pro Bowl mostly as a pass rusher, but he got good depth on that one.
Illegal contact by the defense, number 27.
Was a flag on the play.
Automatic first down.
First down, Cowboys. Terrell Buckley.
It's been a long day for Terrell Buckley.
Really?
He was a guy that Alvin Harper got that big one on. He was a guy that had that penalty down there in the goal line. You see him here bumping Harper after 5 yards.
Yep.
After they go 5 yards, you can't touch him.
Well, Harper's so much bigger. That's what they took advantage of. The Cowboys did on Thanksgiving Day, and they've done it again today.
Yeah, Jason Garrett just throwing jump balls up there.
Flag on the play as Thomas gets down for good yardage, about 8 or 9 yards, but a penalty marker down.
Yeah, I think they're going to call it on Scott Galbraith. He came in as the H-back, and he made a trap block, but then he stayed on top of the guy. He was celebrating a little too much.
Holding by the offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Yep, they called it on Nate Newton. See, here's Nate Newton right here. But watch Galbraith. He's going to come in here and make a trap block, and he's the guy that really makes the block and really makes the play work, number 89. See him sneak in there? Boom, right there. He gets that little trap block, and that's the one that sprung Thomas.
Nate was blocking on a linebacker, and the left hand might have come out. First and 20. Back at the Packer 45. 28-9, the Cowboys lead. Passing down. Aikman. Pass is picked off. Intended for Darrell Johnston. Picked off by Bryce Popp. Knocked out of bounds by Tooney. Darrell Johnston fell down.
That's a good adjustment by the Packers because it didn't look like Aikman expected Bryce Popp to be back there. You're going to see Popp is going to come back right into this area here. Just a little while ago, he came back and knocked one down. Now you're going to see him drop. As you see, Johnston did go down. The Popp was right there. The ball went over Johnston's head, and that's the problem with those timing pass patterns. Aikman is going to let the ball go before Johnston finishes his route. And, of course, Bryce Popp was standing up. Johnston was down.
10:34 left in the third quarter. Packer first and 10 inside the Dallas 30. Reggie Cobb and Edgar Bennett behind Brett Favre. Favre outside of Brooks. First down Green Bay at about the 13.
Yeah, Brett Favre has maintained his calm throughout this year. There's no reason to panic yet. I mean, you have plenty of time, and you just stay calm, find something, you get something going. And I think one of those things they want to get going is more play pass, more first down passing. And again, like even before the game, stay out of that third and long.
There's Mike Holmgren, Packer head coach, who's done a terrific job, and a terrific man.
This is Bennett. Bennett comes out of the pack. Picked up a couple. Stopped by Darren Smith and Leon Lett.
You know, Bennett's been playing this whole year with a separated shoulder. In fact,
amazing.
It's a third-degree separation. But guys that do things and tough guys, Edgar Bennett is one of them, but that's why they don't use him as much as a blocker anymore, because he has a separated shoulder.
Pretty hard to block.
But he still has to run and take those hits when he catches them.
And he catches very well. Here's Favre. Pump fake. Going to the corner to Brooks. And over his head. Fake the slant. And then broke to the corner.
That was a good pattern by Brooks, because they really did have Larry Brown. As you say, that's what they call a post corner or a slant. He's going to come in, then you come in, then you sell him on this. And then when Brown takes this step in here, then you go right back to the corner. But if you're going to run a post or slant corner, you have to come in right there. You see how he sells him on the slant? In fact, Brown fell down, and Favre threw a bad pass. That should have been a touchdown.
3rd and 9. Favre back to throw it. Haley from behind. No, it's not Haley. It's Jim Jeffcoat replacing Haley. He's been doing it forever, it seems like.
He gets his plays. He has about 15 or 20 plays a game, and he can go the whole way. And you're just going to see him just come from the outside. Here's Jim Jeffcoat right here. Again, he's going against Ken Rutgers. Rutgers has been having a tough time all day. And Favre knows he can feel that pressure from the backside, but he just couldn't get out of there.
Haley had moved over to left defensive end. Jackie from 38 yards. Is not good. Wide left, Chris Jackie. The score remains 28-9, Dallas.
Off is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, and nachos, cross the border. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
There's Jim Jeffcoat, who got that big sack a moment ago. He's been at it 12 years. And I asked him earlier, how much longer? He said, as long as I'm enjoying it. Why quit?
Well, you know, and they're playing him properly. He doesn't start, and they play him about 15 or 20 plays in a game, and he's always been one of those guys that go full speed, and he can still, after playing that long, go full speed for 15 or 20 plays.
This is Blair Thomas, hit at the 30. George Kuntz made the stop.
Here's a guy that's having a long day, Ken Rutgers, trying to block Charles Haley. He had that problem earlier. And that last sack, Jim Jeffcoat went over and lined up on Ken Rutgers. Yeah, you can talk all you want to, but you got to get those hands up, and those feet moving, and take away that inside and ride them beyond the outside and play quick. It's tough. I mean, playing that open side left tackle, blind side of a quarterback is tough.
Especially when you don't know where that quarterback's going. That's Blair Thomas. Close to first down yardage. Reggie White made the stop.
Yeah, I'll tell you, old Nate Newton comes out there, and he's on a defensive back. He's on Corey Harris. Watch this. Here's Nate Newton. He's going to come out here, and he's going to have a collision right here with Corey Harris, a defensive back. And you're going to hear the air go out of Corey Harris. Watch Big Nate right there. Boom. The air just, maybe the air went out of my man Nate.
Maybe so.
I heard the air come right out.
Yeah. You can hear it all the way up here.
I did. I heard it all the way up here with my raw ears.
1st and 10. Harper, the move man, and Aikman back to throw it. Gets it up to Michael Irvin. Right now, let's send you back to Hollywood for a McDonald's game break. James Brown.
All right, Pat, no disputing the impact of Deion Sanders on San Francisco's secondary. The AP Defensive Player of the Year with 6 picks, 3 returned for touchdowns. Couple him with Jerry Rice, and you know why the 49ers have sprinted to their 6th NFC Championship appearance in the last 7 years. Let's take it back to Pat and John.
And those 49ers will entertain one of these two teams. 2nd and 4 for Dallas. They lead
Dallas in the backfield, taken down early.
That time they played the trap.
Davey made the stop.
You're going to see Nate this time. Nate Newton come down here to make a trap, but you're going to see him get trapped right there, and there's no hole at all. This is a trap. You see, you let the end man go, and he just traps the trapper.
And they lose yardage, making it 3rd and 8. Dallas at their own 41. 6:05 left to play third quarter. 3 wide receivers, all 3 to the left. And now Kevin Williams goes right. And Aikman goes back to throw. Aikman is sacked by Sean Jones as he tried to come out of the pocket. And the Cowboys will have to punt.
Yeah, this is a coverage sack because if you look, the protection starts out pretty good. You see, everything is handled there. They got that right side handled, and Aikman was looking to the right. Then he looked to the middle. He couldn't find anything, and then he got flushed out here to the left. That wasn't Mark Tuinei's fault.
Aikman had time. As you said, it was just a coverage sack.
Yeah, good coverage by the Green Bay Packers secondary, and that's who you have to give credit to.
John Jett back to punt. Robert Brooks deep for Green Bay. Good kick. Chases Brooks back inside the 10 to the 5. And Brooks is down at about the 15 by Brock Marion. Good coverage. Good kick, followed by good coverage. The Cowboys 28, the Packers 9. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Texas Stadium. Green Bay has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 15.
Where did old Captain Cowboy come from?
I don't know.
Well, he doesn't even know which way to face. He wasn't on that. He wasn't on that punt coverage team, was he?
No, he just flew in.
Did you see Brock Marion come flying down on that punt coverage? Whew, he is a wild man.
Edgar Bennett behind Brett Favre. Favre outside, complete to Anthony Morgan. About 8.
You know, you can get man-to-man in the Cowboys. They kind of play a zone, and then they go man within the zone. In fact, we're talking to Butch Davis yesterday. He said that he wants his guys to plaster on in the zone. You know, in other words, a guy comes in your zone, plaster on him. So you can work some things, and the Cowboys have been vulnerable to those out patterns today.
2nd and 2. You can isolate those guys on the outside. Here is Edgar Bennett. Close to 1st down yardage. I think he got it. Tony Tolbert in pursuit made the stop.
Hey, you know, the thing about the Cowboy defense, too, is as we're talking about the speed and how quick they are, but they're also all very good tacklers. You know, some guys can run faster, they're quick, and they get there, and then they don't do anything when they get there, but this bunch kind of does something when they arrive.
1st and 10, Green Bay. Reggie Johnson was the man in motion to Morgan. He's got some blockers out of bounds, and another Packer 1st down, or close to it. It is.
You see, those are the kind of things that I think are good. You know, you do something like that on early downs, and the Cowboys are trying to run stunts with Charles Haley and stuff, and you just come back, boom, you just get that ball out there and get it going, you know, and not let them play their games and do all those things to you.
Clock moving down, less than 4 minutes left in the third quarter. 28-9, Cowboys lead. Green Bay 1st and 10 at their own 39. Edgar Bennett behind Brett Favre. With Brooks in motion. Favre would throw it again. Incomplete. Brock Marion waited until the last second to close on Brooks.
They're playing their nickel against him because they know, you know, they're talking about halftime that one thing about the Packers, they're not going to stay patient and stay with that run. Now the Cowboy defense knows that, and that's why Brock Marion is in there, because he's a nickel defensive back. So the Cowboy defense really isn't honoring the threat of a run of the Packers anymore. They were just playing nickel and playing nickel on 1st down.
Oh, that clock running, they can't afford to concentrate on running anymore. Favre to throw it again. In Incomplete. Intended for Morgan. Couldn't hang on. Kevin Smith and James Washington converge.
I don't know that was a heck of a collision. Because you have a receiver coming in there, and you have a safety coming in there, and you have a corner coming in there, and they all get there at about the same time. Now there comes James Washington.
Who hit his own man.
He just unloaded on Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Here's Kevin Smith there, man-to-man on Anthony Morgan. He does a good job of stripping the ball, and then watch his own guy, James Washington, tee off on him. Whew, that was a collision.
Can be dangerous in that part of the field. Kevin Smith.
That was Kevin Smith's reward for making a great play on a slant.
Yeah. Clayton Holmes has replaced Smith. Favre looking in that direction. Got the ball to Robert Brooks. Not quite enough for a first down, I don't think. Stopped by Bill Bates.
Yeah, Bill Bates is in other words, they call this defense nickel Bates. And Bates goes in there as a middle linebacker. That's when they're playing 7 defensive backs. You see Kenny Gant, he's one of the nickel guys. Bates is one of the nickel guys. Brock Marion is one of the nickel guys. And they have their own coach. One of the few teams that has their own coach that just coaches the nickel defense.
And they have their own meetings.
Yeah, and one guy, Darren Woodson, is on the regular defense and the nickel defense, so he has to go to the regular secondary meeting and then go to the nickel secondary
And then
meeting.
he's also on the special teams, so that's another meeting.
Yeah, if you wanted to know if there was a trivia question as to which Cowboy plays more snaps than anyone, it's Darren Woodson.
What Barry Switzer's upset about.
Well, he didn't want that. He wants his team to. I don't know what he's upset about. It's 4th down, and they're going for it. And he's calling the defense.
He wants them to stop him.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Favre's going to throw it to Morgan. First down, Green Bay.
You know, that's either real confidence in your quarterback and your passing game that Mike Holmgren has, or no confidence whatsoever in your running game. When you get 4th down, you know you have to go for it, and you would think, I mean, everyone's going to be play and run. You think this would be a running situation, not for the Packers. You put it on Favre here. He comes again, rolling to his right, which is where he's been really most successful, and finding Anthony Morgan.
Russell Maryland limped off after that last play. Chad Hennings has taken his place. And Favre is back to throw it again. Slinging deep. Pass incomplete and no flags. Intended for Brooks. Covered by Brock Marion.
Yeah, it's tough to get anything on it when you're stepping sideways or backwards. I know that Troy Aikman is always talking about how, you know, his feet have to be in the right position to throw the ball. Now, Brett Favre has a strong arm, but on that last one, he was stepping sideways and try and throw deep. And at some point, you're not going to get the velocity that you get if you can step into it.
Well, you can't follow through since you can't step into it.
But he has a good right arm.
Yes,
I mean,
he does.
That's a strong old right arm from Kill, Mississippi.
2nd and 10. Handoff is to Reggie Cobb. Reggie Cobb to the Dallas 40, stopped by Robert Jones and Tony Tolbert.
Mike Holmgren has that chart that he looks at, and he looks at the whole game. He calls every play. Like, he'll make a 2nd down call, then he'll look for 3rd down. So he's already made the call for this down. Now he'll be looking at his card to see what he's going to do the next down.
And he writes little reminders to himself on there. Don't forget this and don't forget that.
And he has the script, the first 15 plays. Then he got stuff on the back page of it.
They need 6 for a first. Incomplete. Intended for Charles Jordan, broken up by Larry Brown.
Yeah, Brett Favre didn't get anything on that one. He has a lot more zip when he throws that out pattern to the right side. That one hung up there a little, that out pattern to the left side, and Larry Brown was able to jump it.
4th and about 6, and they're going to go for it. Mike Holmgren has made his call.
Well, Brett Favre has the message. 4th and 6 from the Dallas 40. Mickens was the man in motion. Incomplete. Intended for Terry Mickens, and the Cowboys take over. A minute 34 left to play in the third quarter. And Dallas lead is 28-9. The Jets' Dennis Byrd was one of pro football's rising stars until an accident on the field left him paralyzed. They said he'd never walk again. But in the toughest game on earth, only the strong survive. Don't miss Rise and Walk, the Dennis Byrd story on Fox's Tuesday night movie at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Dallas ball, 1st and 10, a minute 34 left in the third quarter. The Cowboys 28, the Packers 9. The Minister of Defense, they call Reggie White.
He's as good as they come, and has been as good as there is, but the Cowboys have really controlled him today.
Blair Thomas gets the carry, and Thomas to midfield into Packer territory. 1st down, Cowboys. Good run, and Thomas's longest as a Cowboy. This game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Aikman 20 out of 28, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Total yards, Dallas 386, Green Bay 211. Emmitt Smith, in the event you might not know, re-pulled his left hamstring. He hasn't been back. Blair Thomas just made that run, took Emmitt Smith's place. Novacek in motion, and wide open is Jay Novacek. Knocked out of bounds by George Kuntz, Doug Evans, but not before he got another Cowboy 1st down.
You know, sometimes you wonder how can a guy be open all day? I mean, at some point, someone has to hit him on the line of scrimmage. Someone has to jump him. You have to do something. I mean, you just can't let a guy just be open every time he runs out for a pass.
Well, that's his 10th catch of the day for 99 yards.
Yeah, I mean, change the coverage. Put a strong safety on him. Go an out call. Put a linebacker. Put a guy up on him. Jam him. Hit him. Do something.
Here's Aikman. Deep to Michael Irvin. And another 1st down for the Cowboys. Terrell Buckley.
This is what the Cowboys do so well. You know, you have to worry about an Aikman, and then you get a Michael Irvin, then you get this bootleg, and you get Aikman running out here, Irvin running a comeback, so he can either beat Buckley out or on the way back. So he beat him a little out, and then a lot coming back.
So it's a Cowboy 1st down, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Dallas 28, Green Bay 9. This Fox NFL special will continue after these messages from your local Fox station. One more quarter to go. Dallas 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 17. Blair Thomas, the deep back. 332 yards for Aikman. And Thomas running hard to about the 11.
I tell you, I still think that it all started off, that this whole thing today with the Cowboys started off with this offensive line and the job that they did, and now they got this defense of the Packers beaten down pretty good. In fact, I don't even think Nate Newton's in there anymore. I think Ron Stone is in there now.
Nate had a bad big toe. You're right. Ron Stone is the left guard.
Yep. Kennard's still there. Allen's still there. Stepnoski, 2-A.
2nd and 6. Galbraith was the man in motion. Here's Blair Thomas. To about the 10, picking his way. John Yurkovic made the stop.
You know, it all starts there. I mean, if they don't do it, if those guys up in front, like Nate and Mark 2-A and Stepnoski, Kennard, Larry Allen, if they don't get it done, there's no running by Emmitt Smith. There's no passing by Troy Aikman. None of that stuff works.
No record set there. No record set by Novacek, none by Aikman. starts with protection.
And it starts with control in that line of scrimmage. Remember, last week, the Packers beat the Lions because the Lions didn't control the line of scrimmage.
On third down, Aikman retreats. Gets the pass to Novacek, and that'll be a first down at about the 5. They're the guys, that's the group that's done the job today. That's the way they started.
You know, one of the big first plays, I thought, were these two guys right here when Larry Allen and Derek Kennard took off on one of the first runs of the game, and they double-teamed Reggie White. And Emmitt Smith got right in there and ran behind him. And then down on the goal line when Nate made a block in there and Emmitt Smith went in untouched. I think that said a lot right there.
First and goal at the 5. Thomas gets the carry. Down to about the 2. Bryce Pop made the stop on Blair Thomas.
You know, there's a point in the fourth quarter, and it may be early yet, where the finality starts to set in. I mean, you know, you got winners and losers, and when you win, you know you're going on. You know you're playing a championship game against the 49ers, and when you lose, you know you're going home.
And you can see it on the faces of the Packer players. They're not dead yet, but it's getting close. Blair Thomas didn't get in. Lost perhaps a yard. Jurkovic and Bryce Pop.
Yep, they got penetration over there. What they're going to do is they're going to try and pull this side. They get the penetration right in here, and they just don't have anything to run. Watch 2-A. He's going to come. See, the whole thing gets jammed up. Everyone gets knocked off. The linemen get knocked off, and the Packers did a good job by penetrating on the side that the Cowboys were trying to run to. How do you know when you have one of those things on straight?
I think they belong in the All-Madden Hall of Fame.
No, not those guys. No.
Not the guys, the hats.
No. You have to do more than be a cheese hat.
Here's Aikman to throw it. Harper jumps, flag on the play in the end zone. Aikman was high. Harper can get high.
Remember that Thanksgiving Day game where Jason Garrett just kept throwing the ball high to Alvin Harper? He said his wife Brill told him that. Troy Aikman said this week, he said, I love Brill, but if I have to listen to what Brill says, we're in trouble.
This is interference against the Packers in the end zone. That'll make it an automatic first down for holding.
Holding by the defense, number 36. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Call against Leroy Butler.
Leroy Butler's on the inside. I think the guy just fell down, and Leroy Butler just happened to be there.
It was Novacek who fell down, tripped, and Butler was on top of him.
Yeah, he was standing there.
First and goal from the 2. 4 more cracks at it. Blair Thomas. The deep back. He gets the first crack, and he is flying into the end zone. Blair Thomas. Replacing Emmitt Smith. Puts the Cowboys further out of distance.
This is looking like the Cowboy team, Pat, of last year that won the championship, the year before that won the championship. Michael Irvin right there, he guaranteed it. He says he guarantees, he didn't just guarantee this game, but Michael Irvin guaranteed that the Cowboys are going to go to and win another Super Bowl.
Bonio for the extra point. If they go to another Super Bowl, they have to beat the 49ers next week, assuming they win here this afternoon. And I think you have to assume that.
And then the 49ers have been looking forward to that one for a long, long time.
Since the first of the year. Blair Thomas for the touchdown over the top.
Roosevelt High School. Now he's one of the Cowboys' brightest stars. Who is this hometown hero? Running the ball, catching it, or returning kicks, Kevin Williams finds ways to find the end zone.
Kevin Williams will bring it in. Kevin Williams from Dallas scores.
Kevin Williams, Dallas's hometown hero.
This Fox NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by IBM.
Blair Thomas accepting those congratulations. This is Gant.
Yeah, Kenny Gant goes down there in the end zone. He's all the way down in the end zone. He's firing the crowd up for that kickoff. And I'll tell you, he does something about it, though, too. I mean, all his teammates are up here, and now he's coming up. You see him coming up there.
Well, sometimes you resent somebody who carries on like that and doesn't do anything, but he does something.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get yourself all fired up, then when that ball's kicked, you better run down there like you're fired up. You can't be the last guy down there when you go through those gyrations. Woo! Let's go. He's ready to rumble.
You're going to be Tarzan. You better let go of the vine when the time comes.
Bring it all off the shelf.
Harris at the 5. Flag back where the Cowboys kicked off. He's still on his feet, down by Brock Marion at about the 24. Joe Fishback also there.
I saw Gant come flying in towards the end there. Watch him here. Here he is. Now, the other thing is you're doing all that. The crowd's going. You're pointing both ways, but those guys in the other colored jerseys are looking at you too.
They're seeing all these antics.
Yeah. So so when that ball's kicked, at least he's having fun.
By the kicking team, number 50, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
I watch you go down there. Boom. He gets knocked sideways, spun around, finally goes down, gets up. He's off his axis. He doesn't know where he is, but there's still going to be another hit here. He got one more. Boom. There's the other one. He goes flying, his head jolts back.
And now he's going to do it again because the Cowboys were offside.
I don't know that he didn't get something knocked out of him, though.
Well, if he's got anything left, they'll try again. No, he's still.
That's why I used to always say that special teams breeds fanaticism.
Well, special teams players have to want to be special team players to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, and the good ones are all a little goofy. I mean, I'm sure Kenny Gant, he's that way. Bill Bates.
Yeah.
Bill Bates, I mean, he's made a living going down under those things. Brock Marion, Fishback. I mean, those guys fly down there. These guys fly down under kicks like no one that I can remember seeing.
Bill Bates has got his goofiness under control.
When did he get it under control today?
Well,
last time I saw him, he didn't have it under control yet.
He says he has.
No.
He says he's faster, too.
Yeah. Bates is one of the all-time great overachievers.
He had a big pep rally at his ranch on Friday night. Does it every year. The Cowboys are in the playoffs. He's not thinking about a pep rally now.
And you said, who would you like to have someone grow up to be like? That one wouldn't be a bad guy right there.
Really wouldn't. Bonio shielding his eyes. I'm not sure what we're waiting on.
Probably Kenny Gant to get back from those couple of hits that he took down there.
There's 3 Warriors, 4 Warriors. Stepdowski, Michael Irvin, Darrell Johnston, and the Big E, Eric Williams.
Yeah, Darrell Johnson, that's a way a guy rests that has made a lot of butt blocks. If you're a head butter and you rest, that's the way you rest.
Bonio's kick again goes to Corey Harris at the 8. And Harris dragged down at the 35 and a flag on the play. This whole kickoff exercise has taken more time in the third quarter.
These officials don't work together during the regular season. This is kind of an all-star crew of officials. The officials that grade out best during the regular season get the playoffs. And, of course, officials can get one playoff game and the Super Bowl.
Illegal block in the back by the receiving team on the return. 10-yard penalty,
That's the
first
total
down.
lineup of officials here today, headed by Ed Hockley. Penalty against the Packers. Mike Holmgren doesn't believe it.
The NFC Divisional Playoff is brought to you by Honda, who invites you to test drive the new Accord V6 sedan. By Bud Bowl 7, this year it's going to be a whole new ball game. And by Merrill Lynch. For our clients, the difference is planning. The difference is Merrill Lynch.
The Cowboys 35, the Green Bay Packers 9. First and 10, Packers at their own 20. Brett Favre back to throw. Chase out of the pocket. Finally lets it go to Reggie Cobb, who gets enough for a first down, but there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, that was the one thing that the Cowboys were worried about in Butch Davis, that his rush would go up the field beyond Favre, and then he comes out of there flat on a scramble and completes the passes.
The holding call looks like it's against Dallas. Excuse me, John.
I was saying that was one of the first times that they did that, so I think the Cowboys have been coached pretty well today.
Illegal hands to the face by the defense, number 78. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Right now, for an update, let's go down to Ron Pitts.
All right, Pat, quickly, an injury update on Emmitt Smith. He is in the locker room, fully dressed. The only treatment he's getting right now is ice on that hamstring. He says it's way too early to tell whether he'll be ready for next week or not. Back up to you.
All right, Ron, thank you. And they need Emmitt Smith. Blair Thomas has done a fine job.
Yeah, you know, as Leroy Butler said last night about Emmitt Smith, he's the heart and soul of the Cowboy offense.
Favre fires with people all around him, complete Reggie Johnson. Right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, the 49ers have welcomed the toughness and excellent hands of William Floyd to their arsenal, and it's pushed Ricky Waters to dig a little deep in his bag of talent. And no one is happier to have that 1-2 punch than Steve Young. It may be the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Cowboys next week. Back to Pat and John.
Right now, it certainly looks like it may be the 49ers hosting the Cowboys, 2nd and 1. Favre's going to throw it to Brooks. Taken out of bounds by Brock Marion. First down, Green Bay.
And Brooks has been the go-to guy for Brett Favre today, but he's also been their leading rusher. He's ran the ball 2 times for 23 yards, and I think we knew coming in if the Packers were going to do it, they'd have to do it with their defense, you know, making turnovers and stuff, and their passing game. That they can say that they wanted to run the ball, but you can't not be a running team all year and then come in against a good defense like the Cowboys and all of a sudden become a running team.
First and 10. Favre on the handoff to Edgar Bennett. And Bennett gets past the 40 down to the Cowboy 37-yard line, first down.
Anytime you see that, that means the guy's day's work is over.
Yep.
That's the first thing you do is you take off the helmet. The second thing you do is you take off the tape. Third thing you do is you take off the pad, then the rest of the clothes.
Well, nowadays you got to take off the gloves before you take off the tape.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd see a day where big old offensive linemen were wearing gloves.
Favre to throw it. Batted up. Favre grabbed Haley by the hand to keep him from intercepting this ball. And a flag comes out.
Haley started out causing havoc, and he's still causing havoc. But I think you can do that. I think what Brett Favre did is okay. Watch Charles Haley. Again, he's running a spin move on Ken Ruckers. He goes up, he gets both hands on the ball, and I think that's legal. I think you can grab a guy from getting the ball.
Let's see what Hockley says. Haley maybe could have intercepted it.
Holding by the offense, number 4. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Up on a fumble, I know you can grab him, but I guess if the ball's in the air, you have to let him intercept it. Charles Haley got that left hand up there, and then he was going to get it. Brett Favre knew he was going to get it, and he just grabbed Charles Haley's left arm.
Yeah.
Well, Haley started off as a nemesis for Favre in the first quarter, and now that we're here with 8 minutes, 53 seconds in the fourth quarter, he's continuing that.
So it's first and 20. Ball back at the Cowboy 27. 47, excuse me. to throw. Intended for Charles Jordan. Flag on the play. A penalty marker down. I think Jordan might have run out of bounds and then come back in.
Yeah, because you see the hat down there, too. The side judge's hat down. That means that someone went out of bounds. You can go out of bounds and come back in, but you can't come back in and be the first guy to touch your ball.
Right.
Look at Mike Holmgren's out in the field. You can't do that.
There was no penalty on the play. The pass was incomplete. Therefore, there can be no defensive pass interference. Brings up second down.
No, that's not right. There can be pass interference without the pass being complete. He said the pass was incomplete, therefore there's no pass interference. That's not right. I think what he meant is because the receiver went out of bounds, now there can't be pass interference.
Yeah, he's out of bounds.
He went out of bounds right there, although that pass interference could have been called on Larry Brown.
Could have.
Because he pushed him out of bounds after 5 yards. The officials were doing pretty good, then they're getting a little confused right here.
In any case, it's second and 20. And Favre back to throw. The pocket collapsed. Favre came out scrambling and throws back across his body to Brooks. And picks it up down to the 30. Brock Marion again made the stop, but Brooks made the catch.
Yeah, that's what Brett Favre can do so well is get back there and look and then scramble and then find a guy and throw to him wherever he is. Let's watch this on a double box now. We'll see here. He's going to get flushed out, and then he's going to run out to his right on the bottom there. Then he sees Brooks right here. Brooks just keeps working. You keep working across, find a hole, then work back to your quarterback when he scrambles, and Favre just threw that one right across his body.
Third down. Pass incomplete, intended for Edgar Bennett. Darren Woodson came up to knock it down. There's another guy who's been playing with a bad shoulder all year long.
Yep, and he made the Pro Bowl, and he's the guy we were talking about that plays more snaps than any of these Dallas Cowboys because he's on every special teams. He's on their regular defense and their nickel defense.
Goes to a lot of meetings.
I really like him. I mean, he's a bright player. He's a hard hitter. He was a kind of a linebacker in college. Ran a 4.3, so you know you're going to make something out of him.
A lot of enthusiasm. Here's Favre. Incomplete. The Cowboys will take over. Anthony Morgan, the intended receiver. The quest is for another one of those rings. Eric Williams will have to watch. From the network that brought you In Living Color, get ready for the freshest, craziest, most outrageous sketch comedy show ever. House of Buggin', starring award-winning comedian John Leguizamo. Catch the series premiere tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, after a brand new Simpsons, part of Fox's Funny Sunday.
Yeah, you can't beat some ball during the day and then a funny Sunday at night, huh?
House of Buggin'.
There's some funny Sunday afternoon.
Rodney Peete is now the Cowboy quarterback. And the handoff is to Blair Thomas. Thomas outside the 40, about the 42. First down, stopped by George T.
Yeah, there's a lot of happy guys in this Cowboy organization, you know, from Jerry Jones, the owner. You know, when he made that move with Jimmy Johnson, brought in Barry Switzer, this is where they're going to be judged. You know, this is where Barry Switzer is going to be judged, that whole chain. You know, can you get back? Can you get to? Can you three-peat? Can you win another Super Bowl? And they're on the road to it.
Yep. And if you're going to judge Barry Switzer, you have to give him affirmative votes right now for the job he's done. He's sort of stayed out of the way, but the job has been done. Blair Thomas again. You know, after the Super Bowl, after the championship game next week at Candlestick, still more football on Fox coming up. The World League of American Football. And all those
those coaches are here in attendance today, including Hall of Famer Ernie Stautner, Galen Hall, who coached in college and professional levels for a long time, Bobby Hammond, a player in the NFL, Larry Kuharich, son of the late coach Joe Kuharich, brother Bills with the New Orleans Saints. Blair Thomas waited and looked, and there was nothing there. Matt Brock and George Kuntz made the stop.
They were talking about guys that, you know, that have to be feeling good about this. Here's a guy right here, Pat, Charles Haley. You know, he has 4 Super Bowl rings with the 49ers and the Cowboys. Joe Montana's been eliminated from this, so Charles Haley can be the first guy to ever win 5 Super Bowl rings. And he's a championship player. I mean, he's just not along for the ride. I mean, he's been driving a lot of those cars.
You better make sure if you play against Charles Haley that you know where he is. Pass incomplete, intended for Harper. Flag on the play.
That's that old thing. Rodney Peete just brought that back from Thanksgiving. And Jason Garrett's wife said, heck, you know, when you don't know what to do, just throw a high one up to Alvin Harper. And I think when either Jason Garrett or Rodney Peete comes in,
10-yard penalty.
That's what they do.
Second down.
They called that one on Alvin Harper, though.
And he's got his hands all over the defender.
And rightly so. I mean, you know, that was the right call and the good call, but they don't make that one a lot.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. Second and 22. Rodney Peete, the quarterback. Darrell Johnston is the back behind him. And he gets a carry. Gets a few.
You know who's really hurting is Larry Allen. I mean, he can't even move out there at all. You know, so the Cowboys can win this game, but they're gonna be limping in the candlestick.
Well, without Emmitt Smith, with Larry Allen, look at the big wins in the divisional playoffs. The 49ers beat the Bears 44-15. The Steelers over the Browns 29-9. The Cowboys lead the Packers 35-9. All those teams that lost by those big margins had to play the extra week.
Yeah, they did. And you know, and that's parity sometimes too. You know, that when parity meets up with excellence, you're going to have some routes, and that's what happened. I mean, everyone wants parity and all those 9 and 7, but when they meet, you know, the real deal, the real thing, then you're going to have some high-scoring games or some route-type games. In all due respect, 4 teams in the playoffs.
4 teams out of one division. The NFC Central made the playoffs. Here's Rodney Peete. Bounced off the turf, intended for Blair Thomas.
And if the Packers lose now, 4 teams will have all lost from the Central Division.
Right.
And you know, everyone has been looking. I know that you talk to the Dallas Cowboys, and they've been waiting for another shot at the 49ers. The 49ers have been waiting for another shot in the playoffs at the Cowboys since last year, when the Cowboys beat them in the championship.
Well, they made all those acquisitions and additions on defense, particularly.
Just to play against the Cowboys and to stop the Cowboys, and that's one thing. Steve Young, as great as he is, that's one thing that is still there. He still hasn't won a Super Bowl.
5:18 left to play in this contest. The Cowboys leading 35-9. Family enjoying what they're witnessing this afternoon. The Cowboys leading 35-9, and their son Troy is through for the afternoon and healthy.
You know, doesn't Troy Aikman's dad look like a guy from Henrietta, Oklahoma?
Yes.
If you say, where are you from? Say Henrietta.
Here's Rodney Peete firing deep for Harper. Harper had it on his hip.
And I think Harper's started to push off again, too.
Yep.
I think he's laughing now. He knows that one. They're just throwing those jump balls. They're going to work and Terrell Buckley again, but you can't do that to him. I mean, you could throw him, you could beat the guy, you could do it, but you can't push him away from where you're going.
And then you got to catch it.
Yeah, Harper knows that. I mean, but the thing is, I don't know.
Interference by the offense, number 80. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
I don't know that Harper had to do that. I mean, with his size advantage over Buckley, he could just out-jump him anyway, I think. But I guess when you're ahead 35-9 and there's only 5 minutes left in the game, why worry about things like that? Just kind of push your guy and see if you can get by with a street move and then laugh it off.
John Jett back to punt. Robert Brooks is deep. Brooks has become Brett Favre and the Packers' go-to guy since the injury to Brett Favre. Jett's kick is a high, good one. It's going to be down by Matt Vanderbeek. Cowboy coverage down in good shape.
This NFL special, the NFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by IBM.
Back at Texas Stadium, the Cowboys leading the Green Bay Packers 35-9. The winner to go to Candlestick Park next week. Mark Brunell is the quarterback for the Packers now in place of Brett Favre. 4 minutes, 57 seconds left to play.
We want San Fran. I think you got San Fran.
Yep.
This Mark Brunell is a pretty good-looking player. I remember him in preseason. He's a left-hander. Yep. And he can zip that thing pretty good.
1st and 10. They're going to start from their own 3. Edgar Bennett. And let's again go down to the sideline to Ron Pitts.
All right, Pat, joining me now, head coach of the Frankfurt Galaxy of the World League, Ernie Staudtner, former defensive coordinator here with the Dallas Cowboys. Ernie, what's this thing going to be like? What's the talent level going to be over there? I'm sure that's a question everybody wants to know about.
Well, the talent level is going to be a little bit less than what you're seeing right now. Of course, not what you're seeing with the Cowboys right now, significantly less than that. But it's going to be very credible as far as talent is concerned, because we're going to get most of all our players from the players that were released in training camp.
Now, you've been over there for a while. You've said you've got your staff together. Yes. What's the atmosphere like over there? How are the people taking this style of football now?
Well, it's really amazing, because when I was over there before the staff was gotten together, I was there in November, and I went to little towns that they're playing football, American football, all over Germany, and the acceptance is amazing. They're very excited about it. They have accepted American football. It's not their soccer, of course, but it really surprised me how much they have come to like American football.
All right, have fun over there, Ernie. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
Okay, back up to you, Pat.
All right, Ron, thank you. Pass complete to Brooks. Enough for a Packer first down. That was 3rd down. Brock Marion made the stop. And Ernie Staudtner will keep things in order.
Well, you talk about guys who were dominating defensive linemen and players. Ernie Staudtner is a Hall of Famer, and coached these Cowboys for years, coached at Denver for a while, and he's one of those guys, just a football guy. If there's football, wherever it is, it can be in Germany or wherever, Ernie Staudtner's going to be there.
At the end of this game, John and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Up and out of there. And out of bounds after a first down scramble. Knocked out by Darren Woodson. Today's divisional playoff game being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. Studio is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
Michael Irvin, I know what he's thinking about. He's thinking about those 49ers already and about that matchup with Deion Sanders. You talk about some matchups.
Oh, boy.
That are going to happen next week out in Candlestick. There's going to be some great ones.
1st and 10 for Green Bay. Mickens was the man in motion. Pass is high. He overthrows Reggie Cobb.
Warren Woodson, he's over there. I mean, Darren Woodson over there just patting guys now. I mean, now they just have to get this game over. That's what everyone wants to do, is get this game over and get it out of there.
Big Leon Lett. I think he needs a bigger hat.
No, he just has to let some notches out. You see, if you look at the back of it, he just doesn't have enough notches in the thing. I mean, you got to get, like, Leon Lett, he's a 2-notcher, so he should only have 2 notches in his hat. He's trying to go 6 notches.
Woodson takes Dorsey Levens out of bounds. I beg your pardon, it was Kenneth Gant, the special teams cheerleader, that took him out of bounds.
You're talking about those matchups. It looks like Troy Aikman is out, and there's Charles Haley, and that's his son CJ. CJ had a birthday party here earlier in the season. And he said he can't roughhouse with CJ because then he goes to school and roughhouses too much and they blame his dad.
I think they're right. Over the head of the intended receiver, Anthony Morgan. That'll bring up a 4th down. And the Packers are going to punt. Here's the Haley group. Charles looked like he's in pain.
Oh, CJ, he looks so calm down there and so nice.
Yeah.
But Charles says when he goes home at night, he's just wild. He said all he wants to do is roughhouse. And he says if he roughhouses with him, then he goes and roughhouses with all the other kids.
And he roughhouses too rough. Kevin Williams fair catches Hendricks punts. And so Dallas takes over with 3:01 left. The Cowboys 35, Green Bay 9.
And that's Charles's daughter. That's Princess right there. That's something when you can play like that, play like Charles Haley has played, and the game's over, you come down and have Princess sit right next to you, and CJ sit there and kind of watch the whole thing.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. Leon Lett.
Look at Leon Lett. I mean, no wonder CJ. I mean, if you have big old Leon Lett giving him jabs to the face, what do you expect the kid's going to do?
You can roughhouse.
Huh?
With Leon, you can roughhouse with anybody.
I know it. I mean, CJ ought to give him a left hook. Don't take that.
Rodney Pete hands off to Thomas, and Thomas outside about the 32. Three receivers for the Cowboys have had 100+ yards. Irvin 111, Harper 108, and Novacek 104. Last time that happened was San Diego at Miami. Charlie Joyner had 108, Kellen Winslow 166, Chandler had 106. And Ernie Zampese in both occasions was the offensive coordinator.
I'll tell you, Ernie's done a heck of a job today. You know, he's been taking a little criticism here, too. They felt that they missed Norv Turner and thought that Ernie was getting a little predictable and stuff.
Packers stripped the ball away from Blair Thomas, and they take over. Mark Williams came up with the ball.
Now, if Jimmy Johnson was here, he would really get upset with Blair Thomas. That's one thing that you could do. I mean, even though you got the game and the game was over, you still can't let your guys get sloppy. And I mean, you still can't do that. And that's the time. I mean, just know Jimmy, he would have been out there jumping on him. Just because, I mean, you're still playing. The game is still on. And there's only one way to play. You protect everything. You don't let things like this happen.
You don't let them strip you of the ball. Sometimes that's a very difficult task.
And I will say the blocking at the end of the game wasn't as good as it was about a half hour ago.
I think you're right. Well, it's a matchup that everybody had talked about from the beginning of the year, next week's NFC Championship game. Packers trying to set up one of their famous screens and can't get it done. Next week at Candlestick, and that's one of the matchups you'll be looking at. Charles Haley, who used to play with the 49ers and with Steve Young, will be putting the heat, he hopes, on the left-handed quarterback.
And remember what happened when they played in the regular season. Charles was bringing that heat, and the 49ers couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get any running game going or anything. And then Steve Young ran a naked bootleg, and he ran right around Charles Haley a couple times. Haley was talking about that yesterday. He said he's not going to do that again.
Well, that's really the only thing that kept the 49ers in the game in the first half. That's Reggie Cobb. And there are going to be some great matchups. The flag is on this last play. There are going to be some great matchups next week. That one, Haley rushing Steve Young. Of course, he's got to get past Steve Wallace before he can put any heat on Steve Young.
Face mask by the defense, 5-yard penalty only. 5 yards, repeat, second down.
Still second down. You talked about Michael Irvin matched against Deion Sanders. There's that matchup.
Yeah, and then, of course, they can put Alvin Harper on that side, too. I mean, it can be Alvin Harper going in one of those jump ball things against Deion Sanders. Merton Hanks, one of the better players in the league. Alvin Harper playing against Eric Davis or Deion. I mean, they flip them back and forth, so any of those matchups could happen.
2nd and 2. Cobb, the lone setback. Not in the end zone. The catch was made by Robert Brooks, but they're saying he was out of bounds. Didn't get both feet down. 2-minute warning. Brooks is open. He was just about a foot out of bounds. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are hosting Fox's Funny Sunday, a non-stop night of comedy beginning tonight at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. So if having a few laughs and watching football's most beautiful women doesn't sound bad, then check out Fox's Funny Sunday, hosted by the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. That's all tonight on Fox. Hey, you talked earlier, that's Larry Allen. You talked about the job he has done stepping in for Eric Williams. Reggie White hasn't been the dominating factor that he was on Thanksgiving Day or last week against Detroit. There's Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
And Jerry doesn't look as happy as he would, and I know why, because they're worried about Emmitt Smith. I mean, to play the 49ers, they need Emmitt Smith.
They need all the guns. That's Reggie Cobb, and that's no gain. Godfrey Miles to make the stop. Big Nate Newton.
Yep, he put that whole 340 pounds on a 16-ounce toe.
How did he know, you think, that his toe weighs 16 ounces?
I don't know. It had to be some deal where you just weigh yourself and then subtract your toe when you weigh that by itself.
That's good thinking. Brunell scrambles out of bounds.
So I mean, Nate's real weight is probably 340 pounds, 16 ounces.
That's with the toe not out of place.
But he was wearing a pair of slippers yesterday, and I walked out with him, and he could hardly walk. And, you know, I mean, it is funny. You get a big toe, and you think, you know, I mean, the big toe is nothing. And then everything you do, it seems like it goes right to that big toe.
That's why that turf toe that so many of the running backs and receivers get is such, it seems like such a little injury, but it becomes such a major injury. A chance to pick it off, James Washington. Charles Haley is the Miller Lite player of the game for the havoc he created.
Yeah, especially early in the game. I think he set the tempo and played and showed Green Bay that they weren't going to be able to do anything, and he really did everything that he had to. And After getting player of the game, I think he's going for father of the year all in one day.
He's got his kids down on the sideline with him, as did Nate Newton and some of the other Cowboy players. Here's Brunell. He's going to scramble. We're going to be down at about the 10 as we get to the 1 minute mark. And it's going to be Dallas and San Francisco.
Charles isn't even paying any attention to this one anymore. He's not even looking. Those guys don't even look. They got their kids down there. They're talking to people in the stands. You know who I think that is that he was talking to, Pat? Just looking there. I think that's Keena Turner.
Ex-teammate with the 49ers.
Ex-teammate and the linebacker. Yeah, that is Keena Turner. Lo and behold.
Pass complete. And again, the dive for the pylon by Brooks, but this time he wasn't close. Out of bounds at about the 2.5.
Yeah, Robert Brooks has done a lot today.
He really has.
The Green Bay Packers didn't have much of a shot here today, but Robert Brooks gave everything he had. I mean, he was open a lot. He was running reverses. I mean, they missed Sterling Sharp.
No question about that.
No question about that. But Robert Brooks did pick up a little of the slack.
Brooks has caught 8 passes for 140 yards. And as you pointed out before, he was the leading ball carrier also. First and goal at the 2. Incomplete. Flag on the play. I think you looked at that field at Candlestick Park yesterday, John, and a couple of years ago.
By the defense, number 47. The ball's placed on the 1-yard line, automatic first down.
Ball at the 1. Remember, the field was such a question 2 years ago when the Cowboys went out there to play the championship game. It turned out that the field was in good enough shape, but it turned out also to be a factor in that game as well.
Yeah, and you know, I think that they've really come a long way in working with fields and working on fields, and just watching Candlestick yesterday and knowing that next week, the championship game, the league runs that field, and getting ready has George Toma written all over it.
Yep. Touchdown Packers. Reggie Johnson makes the catch. And Green Bay.
Still one of the big plays. You know, if you said, what's the biggest thing that every passing team is doing now, or every team is doing with their passing, it's all running that bootleg. Yep. Everyone has a form of the bootleg. Now, when it's a quick bootleg, if you're going to go to the, right-hander has to go to the right. Now you bring in a guy like Brunell, and he has to bootleg to his left because he has to come out of that thing. They let that end go so quickly that he has to get rid of that ball.
There was illegal formation on the play by the offense. Number 67 was on the end of the line with an ineligible number. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Number 67 is Paul Hutchins. Now he has to be, I would say he has to be this guy here because he weighs 335 pounds.
There he is moving.
Yeah, and when he moves, you see now he is in an eligible position right here. He's eligible for a pass, but if he didn't report to the officials, then that's a penalty.
And obviously he didn't.
And they can't miss him. I mean, when you're a big old 335, 340-pound guy, now he did report. You see, they reported, and then the official announces it, one to the crowd, but more importantly, to the Cowboy defense. They had to throw a pass to old Paul Hutchins.
That I would like to see.
Yeah, let him rumble on in there.
Turn it on. Incomplete.
They one thing. Most of those rolls, when you have Brett Favre, we were talking a little Mike Holmgren about that, when you have Brett Favre in there, all those rolls and bootlegs are all to the right side because they happen so quickly. And then when you go with Mark Brunell, you have to take those same pattern and make them all to the left side. So all your bootlegs, all your sprints, all your rolls, all your moving pocket stuff becomes left.
You know, it's sort of ironic that the 49ers played the Bears, coached by Dave Wannstedt, who used to be here with the Cowboys, so they got a rehearsal for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys play the Packers, coached by Mike Holmgren, who used to be with the 49ers. So they get a little bit of a rehearsal, too.
And both those teams played each other this year and the championship game last year. And so they know each other.
They fake the reverse. Pass is thrown out of the end zone, incomplete. 6 seconds left on the scoreboard clock. 35-9.
Mike Holmgren's still looking at that card to see if he has anything left at all. That last one was a bootleg off a reverse.
Boy, this is another example of why the teams fight so hard for that off week after the regular season is over. Look at Bill Bates.
Yep, that looks like Bill Bates.
Yep.
See, Bill Bates got that blood going right there. He's not going to take it off either. Guys like Bill Bates don't take the blood off.
They wear it proudly.
Proudly.
Didn't get in, and that should do it.
Schwantz.
Jim Schwantz hit Brunell short of the goal line. So the final score here at Texas Stadium is Dallas 35, the Green Bay Packers 9. Coming up, it's the NASDAQ Stock Market Postgame Report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will look at today's NFC and AFC divisional playoff games. Plus, they'll look at next week's NFC Championship between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers at Candlestick. That's all coming up next on the NASDAQ Stock Market Postgame Report. Stay with us.
Back here in Hollywood for the NASDAQ Stock Market Post-Game Report, and we do have the answer to the question that we talked about at the top of the show, and that was whether or not Dallas could, in fact, walk the walk. To back up the talk, folks, they did it convincingly, 35-9 over the Packers. Having a big day for the Cowboys was one Michael Irvin, and he's standing by with our Ron Pitts.
First of all, Michael, congratulations. Another big win heading off to the NFC Championship game. All the negative criticism all year long about you guys being healthy and all this and all that, somehow you rise to the occasion and get the win.
Well, you know, we're coming into this game. This is the first game that I can truly say all of our guys got a chance to practice together. We got a chance to practice together. We came out, and we looked good. You know, with the exception of Emmett, I think we came out of this game okay health-wise, and we'll see how Emmett is the rest of the game.
You promised Terry in the pregame show here earlier this week, you said, I guarantee a victory coming into the Super Bowl again this year. You still sticking to that one?
Well, you got to stick to it. I mean, how could you go into a game thinking anything else? I mean, that's our attitude. We know we got a big game next week. We're going to enjoy this win today, but we know we got a big game coming up next week. And, hey, we're going to that game just like we're going to every other game, knowing that we're going to win it.
If Emmett can't go, how does the team feel about Blair Thomas?
Oh, well, we got all the confidence in the world in Blair. Blair stepped out and played a great game today. He really did. He stepped up. He made some nice runs, and he put it away for us. And everybody stepped up and played good.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. Good luck to you. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, back here in Hollywood, and you heard Michael Irvin talk about what he said to you in our pregame chat, that he was guaranteeing matters. He had a big game, but what were you most impressed with about the Cowboys today?
The pass protection. The team looked fast. They looked crisp. Even with Emmett, who was having a huge day prior to his injury. In comes Blair Thomas. He has right at 70 yards rushing today. I think that, Jimmy and Howie, I think that has to give the Cowboys some hope that if Emmett can't play next week, that at least they can depend on Blair Thomas to give them some running game. So I was impressed with the entire offense, and once again, the defense was just outstanding.
And speaking of Blair Thomas, we're going to talk with Howie and Jimmy about him just a bit more. But first of all, let's bring you up to speed on the highlights in that very impressive victory today today by the Cowboys over the Packers. Sterling Sharp, boy, Green Bay could have used him.
Well, they didn't have it, so they have to sit back on the sideline and watch this guy. Aikman pumps over the middle. The safety comes up on the crossing route. That allows Harper to get behind the safety. Terrell Buckley had a lousy day. He gets chased. He can't cover. He can't tackle. 94 yards. Longest in the playoff history pass reception for a
Smith
touchdown.
had 44 yards on 7 carries before this.
Yeah, this is where he pulls his left hamstring. Now, we don't know how bad it is right now, JB, but he's had hamstring problems all year.
And I tell you, Brett Favre needed a few more of these plays, Terry.
This is a good job. Stepped up in the pocket, fired the ball over the middle. No safeties are there. And there's Robert Brooks, makes a great grab, gets some help downfield from Anthony Morgan, lunges for the end zone, but JB can't quite get in.
Let's give the Dallas defense some credit. Impressive job today.
Jeff Coat coming off, doesn't play a lot, but when he's in there, he's effective. There's the sack on the backside. Good job. Dallas pressuring from their defensive line.
And you mentioned Blair Thomas, a very effective replacement.
2 touchdowns rushing. Here's one over the top. Once again, this is something the Cowboys need. They need a good running game. They got it today from Blair Thomas.
All right, and of course, that sets up the matchup next week in the NFC Championship game. It will be the Dallas Cowboys traveling to San Francisco, 3rd consecutive time that these two squads will go at it. And of course, it all gets started with the pregame show at 3:30 Eastern time right here on Fox. Now, we've talked a little bit about Blair Thomas. Let's go to Howie and Jimmy. Blair Thomas, if in fact Emmitt Smith is not at full strength and can go, size up Blair Thomas and what he means.
He's an interesting guy, Jimmy. As you know, in 1991, he was the 2nd pick overall in the draft. Emmitt Smith was the 17th. He was depicted as being Emmitt Smith, only a step faster. He was in the Chicago game that year. He was close to averaging 5 yards a carry at that point. Fumbled the ball, never really recovered from that. Now he has a second opportunity. A lot of what happens in Dallas revolves around that running game. A lot of play action.
You know, you look at the game and the matchup here next week. Everybody's going to talk about the offense and defense. They're going to talk about Emmitt Smith, whether or not he's going to be healthy or not. I tell you what, special teams will be a big part of this ball game. Kevin Williams started it off the right way today, got him out to midfield, had a couple of big returns, one of the top return guys in the league, and Deion Sanders could be back there on kickoff returns with, Dexter Carter. So that's going to be big in the game.
Well, it was a matchup that certainly most people were looking for, and Dallas was clicking on all cylinders. Troy Aikman came out and started right off the bat.
They look, we said the first drive, the first quarter, let's see how they go out and attack. And early in the year, 5 out of the first 6 games, the Cowboys scored on the opening drive, and they did it again today. They're ready to go.
And I go back to the comment you made before. No false chatter today. At least the Cowboys backed it up with real stuff on the field. 35-9, the final. We'll come back here to Hollywood and bring you more on the NASDAQ Stock Market Postgame Report after this.